Chapter 1192. Let's go, I can sense it. Hua Linghai pondered for a moment. He's already waiting for us. After speaking, Hua Linghai quickly walked in a direction. The others quickly followed. As a healing-type soul master who wasn't good at running, Jiang Yun wore a pair of special shoes, and her speed wasn't any slower than the other four. After a while, Hua Linghai arrived in front of a huge ancient tree. He brushed away the layer of snow on the ancient tree. Then, he knocked lightly. The surroundings were very quiet. Wang Feng could sense many evil soul beasts, but he couldn't sense them. Instead, Lin Lord Bingmu, who was flying in the sky, sensed them. Lin Lord Bingmu had always been flying in the sky. To him, this place was like his hometown. But now, it was a little unfamiliar, because he had never left the extreme north for 10,000 years. Even though Lin Lord Bingmu spent most of his time sleeping and cultivating here. After a while, the ancient tree split open, revealing a hole. A slightly cold voice came out from inside. "Come in, I've been waiting for you for a long time." Hearing the voice, Zheng Yang frowned. Zheng Yang frowned slightly. Hi, go in and investigate. This tree hole was very special, and spiritual power couldn't sense it. Out of caution, he had to send someone to check it out. Hi nodded, flashed his martial soul, and immediately rushed in. His martial soul was a snow spirit leopard, a creature that grew in the ice plains and was extremely fast. After being possessed by his martial soul, Hi disappeared into the tree hole in a flash. After 10 breaths, Hi reappeared. "There's no problem, there's a special passageway inside, it's very special. He's also inside." Zheng Yang took the lead and walked in, followed by the others. After entering, Wang Feng discovered why the interior of the tree hole was shielded from spiritual perception. This was because the interior of the tree hole was filled with dense ice magnets. It was a mysterious ice that contained magnetic power and was very mysterious. It was a rare specialty of the extreme north. This ice magnets could absorb a soul master's spiritual power, making it difficult for them to sense the situation inside the tree hole. "This is a man-made passageway. It seems like the Isia sect has been developing in the extreme north for many years," Wang Feng sighed. "Deacon Zheng, it seems like we can't use any soul tools in this tree hole. My shoes don't work." At this time, Jiang Yun said helplessly, "We can't even use the basic lights." "Use your martial soul," Zheng Yang instructed. Jiang Yun nodded and gently lit up her martial spirit. Jiang Yun's martial soul was a ball of light with a holy element. It was a very simple martial soul, and possessed strong regenerative and healing abilities. It was very effective against evil soul beasts and evil soul masters. When this ball of light appeared, the inside of the tree hole could be clearly seen. From the shadows of the passage, a figure walked out. "Follow me. Follow this passage and you'll be able to reach the inner circle of the extreme north." It was a young man who looked to be about 16 or 17 years old. He was wearing a white cloak and his hair was ice blue. He looked quite handsome, but his temperament was a little cold. "Why is there one more person? Forget it, this is all I can do to help you. By the way, let me tell you some bad news." The young man glanced at the crowd and frowned slightly. When his gaze fell on Wang Feng, a trace of surprise flashed in his eyes. Then, he shook his head. "What news?" Zheng Yang's heart sank. "The inner circle is very complicated right now. I'm too weak to go deep. However, with the Isia sect's magnetic ice passage, I was able to find out a bit of the situation. One of the 3 Douluo heavenly kings you sent should have been severely injured. 2 of the 8 overlords of the extreme north are also injured." The young man's tone was low. "I don't know anything else. If I hadn't secretly watched a few battles, I wouldn't have known about this situation. However, I don't know their exact location. I also don't know what happened afterwards. However, the inner circle is very dangerous right now." "It's that serious?" Lin Gang frowned deeply. It seems like the evil soul beasts in the extreme north left behind at least 2 digits of eggs here. Zheng Yang said in a low voice, once those monsters from the dark devil world are born from these eggs, they're terrifyingly strong. The most dangerous thing is that once these eggs are picked up by other soul beasts and incubated, they'll devour the soul beasts' lives. They can even disguise themselves. Furthermore, it's impossible to discover anything strange about these eggs in the beginning. Only when they're about to hatch will the true aura of these eggs be exposed. However, it's already too late. The Skydream Iceworm was like this. He made a mistake out of kindness. Wang Feng suspected that Odontosuchus and the others might also be affected. If these eggs were eaten by more savage soul beasts, it would be even more so. Those soul beasts would directly become evil soul beasts. In the end, they would slowly be replaced by the consciousness and soul within the eggs. However, they wouldn't be as strong as those that were incubated directly. Those that were incubated directly were pure beings from the dark devil world, similar to Emoine. Was your Aisya sect destroyed like this? Wang Feng looked at the young man. The young man was stunned. His expression immediately turned cold. So what if it was? Was your Aisya sect founded by a woman called Shui Bing? Wang Feng asked again. The young man frowned slightly and looked at Wang Feng. You know a lot. There shouldn't be anyone in the Human Federation who knows about our Aisya sect's ancestor. Shui Bing, ancestor basically didn't appear on the continent 10,000 years ago. She also didn't show her divinity. Very few people know about her. How do you know? Wang Feng thought to himself. As expected, this Aisya sect was really founded by Shui Bing. It was probably to leave behind the ice god's inheritance. It doesn't matter how you know. I've already said what I should say, the young man said indifferently. Next, it's your choice. There are many evil soul beasts outside. If you go back the way you came, you can leave immediately. If you go to the inner circle, it'll be very difficult for you to return alive. I'm sure your Federation knows how powerful those monsters are. The only one in the inner circle who can deal with those monsters is Heavenly King Nine Phoenix, who can temporarily suppress them. Human titled Douluo aren't strong enough to deal with them. Otherwise, your Heavenly King Douluo wouldn't have been severely injured. The group of people looked at Jing Yang. I suggest that you leave immediately. Wang Feng thought for a moment. With your strength, even if you can find out some information, you might have to pay with your lives. Moreover, this information might not be useful to you. What about you? Jing Yang looked at Wang Feng. I have a reason to go to the extreme ice layer. I've already told you about the life-soul contract. There are also some soul beasts outside. You can experiment with them, Wang Feng said. Chapter 1193. The Extreme Ice Layer? The youth was startled. You want to go to the extreme ice layer? The inner circle is already scary enough. Are you going to die in the extreme ice layer? Even our Aisya sect doesn't dare to enter that place. Let alone the extreme ice layer, you won't be able to pass through the monsters in the inner circle. The ice magnetic passage only leads to the inner circle, not the extreme ice layer. Wang Feng smiled. The youth was silent. Even if we have to pay with our lives, we have to at least obtain some useful information. The details of the 3 Douluo heavenly kings and the extent to which the monsters of the dark demon realm are in the extreme north, we have to find out. Even if we have to pay with our lives, we won't hesitate. Jing Yang said in a low voice, Our inspection department has this responsibility. Since he said this with a resolute and decisive tone, Wang Feng knew that he wouldn't give up so easily. Then let's continue forward. Wang Feng shook his head. The others naturally didn't have any objections. It had to be said that this inspection department was somewhat special. This strength of character wasn't something an ordinary soul master could have. The group followed the winding ice magnetic passage. After walking for less than half an hour, the temperature of the passage started to drop. Unknowingly, many cracks appeared in the surrounding ice magnetic passage. The youth leading the way suddenly stopped. He touched these cracks and his expression changed slightly. Something's wrong. At this time, the youth's voice suddenly turned cold and his expression was somewhat ugly. The ice magnetic passage in front seems to have collapsed. It might have been destroyed by the coincidental collision of those evil soul beasts. Are there other passages? Zheng Yang asked with a frown. There are. The youth pondered for a moment. But there is another passage that leads to our Aisya sect. We can also enter the inner circle from the Aisya sect, but our sect is very dangerous. Although there are no evil soul beasts, those who aren't from the Aisya sect won't be able to survive near the sect. There might be evil soul beasts. I suggest you. At this point, the youth fell silent. We can't go back. Hua Linghai shook his head. We've already come this far. If we go back, it will be troublesome. Hearing this, the youth frowned slightly. Let's continue. Zheng Yang waved his hand. The place you're talking about is the extreme ice forbidden land, right? I've heard that your Aisya sect is built in a dangerous place. However, we have protective measures, so it won't be a problem for us to walk over. The young man sighed and led them along another magnetic ice passage. This time, everyone walked very quickly. The interior of these magnetic ice tree holes was a bit like a maze. It was very winding. Without a guide, it was very easy to get lost and waste a lot of worlds. The young man skillfully led the group of people through one fork after another. About half an hour later, they stopped. The absolute ice forbidden land is right in front of us. Let me say one more thing. You are not from the Aisya sect and cannot withstand the temperature of the absolute ice forbidden land. If anything happens, I won't be responsible, the young man said again. Don't worry. Zheng Yang said plainly, our martial souls are related to the ice element. After our martial souls possess our bodies, we'll be able to greatly reduce the effects of the temperature in this place. Even the weakest, Jiang Yun, is equipped with a large number of soul tools that can reduce the cold brought about by the absolute ice forbidden land. The young man remained silent and glanced at Wang Feng. You don't seem to want us to come, Wang Feng suddenly said. Because I don't want to see you die in vain. The young man shook his head. After saying that, the young man walked to the front, opened the entrance of the magnetic ice tunnel, and walked out. The group of people quickly walked out. In an instant, a soul-freezing coldness drilled into the minds of Zheng Yang and the rest. Too cold. Stiff, everyone was extremely stiff. Fortunately, they quickly possessed their martial souls, and their expressions eased a lot. Wang Feng also happened to see that Zheng Yang, a titled Douluo, had a flying snow falcon martial soul, a type of extremely fast ice-type soul beast. At the same time, Wang Feng also felt for the first time the strength of a titled Douluo with a soul core. A pure ice-type origin energy was emitted from Zheng Yang's body and quickly enveloped the group. The ice-type origin energy emitted by the soul core could offset a large amount of the cold air in this place. The strength of a soul core was that although it couldn't increase a soul master's cultivation, a solid crystal core formed from soul power could greatly increase a soul master's strength, change the soul master's soul power attribute, and increase the absorption and conversion of origin energy from the outside world. A titled Douluo with a soul core was indeed much stronger than a titled Douluo from 10,000 years ago in all aspects. The surrounding glaciers were undulating, and there weren't any plants. There were only buildings formed by ice sculptures in the distance. However, most of them were in ruins now. Evidently, they had been attacked, and there was still a lot of dark demonic energy left. Furthermore, the dark demonic energy wasn't assimilated by the cold in this place. It was a high-grade energy. The young man looked at the buildings in the distance, and a tinge of sadness appeared in his eyes, but it quickly disappeared. Go in that direction, and you'll be out of this place soon. The young man pointed in a direction. You still have a chance to go back now. At this time, Zheng Yang and the rest naturally wouldn't go back. The group was about to go. However, at this moment, a violent roar suddenly sounded. The young man's expression changed immediately. "It's those monsters. Let's go. Follow me into the sect first. Our sect still has the remnants of our ancestors' power, and those monsters won't dare to come in for the time being. Come in and hide for a while." After speaking, the young man took the lead and ran towards the buildings. Jing Yang and the rest hurriedly followed. Naturally, he could feel that kind of overwhelming pressure. Wang Feng glanced at the young man and then looked at the sky. In the clouds, Wang Feng saw Lin Lord Bingmu. Actually, after leaving the city, Lin Lord Bingmu had been in the sky, and he could see many things very clearly. Furthermore, in the extreme north, Lin Lord Bingmu could hide his aura to a great extent, and even those evil soul beasts couldn't detect him. This was his main venue. This absolute ice forbidden land was his hometown, although it had changed a lot now. Interesting, Wang Feng smiled and followed. Not long after, the group arrived at the Ice sect's entrance. This sect built in the absolute ice forbidden land had always been very remote, and the Federation rarely cared about it. The Ice sect was also the only sect built in the extreme north. The buildings here were mostly carved out of various mysterious ice, and their style was simple and unadorned. In this place, they wouldn't be damaged, and there wasn't even a need for basic maintenance. As the young man walked into the central hall, Wang Feng also saw a special statue. It was the statue of Shui Bing. The statues of the Ice God and Water God had already disappeared. To be more precise, when Shui Bing and Ning Rongrong inherited the god positions, the statues of the previous generation of the Ice and Water Gods disappeared. However, what was more interesting was, beside Shui Bing's statue, there was another statue. Teacher Wang, why is there a statue that looks so similar to you in the Ice sect? At this moment, a surprised voice was heard. P.S. 8 chapters, I can't type it out, end of chapter. Chapter 1194. Statue, another statue. Wang Feng squinted his eyes and looked at his own statue. This statue wasn't ordinary. The entire body was made of millennium mysterious ice. Even a titled Douluo would find it difficult to carve this kind of material. It could be carved with extraordinary power. The statue was the scene where he helped the Qilin Lord Ice Empress survive the last calamity in the absolute ice forbidden land. It was very detailed. Even the lightning that fell from the sky was suspended in mid-air. The statue looked up with a fearless expression. It was majestic and upright like a god. Effort was put into it. Moreover, the most interesting thing was that it was still complete. In terms of age, Wang Feng felt that it was even older than the statue in the Shrek Academy. But it was still in good condition. The voice came from Jiang Yun. As soon as she said that, it attracted the attention of the others. They all looked over. In the end, they realized that it was exactly the same as Wang Feng. Strange. Wang Feng hadn't seen the statue in the Central Martial Spirit Palace. But even if he hadn't, it definitely couldn't be compared to this statue. Because Wang Feng suspected that this statue wasn't carved by a soul master. Mohan, why does your Ice sect have his statue? Hua Linghai pushed up his glasses. Mohan was the name of that youth. It was ordinary and ordinary. This statue, don't you recognize it? Mohan looked at them strangely. Oh, it seems so. You humans only have a complete statue in the Central Martial Spirit Palace. Mohan's voice became softer as he spoke. It even disappeared. This statue was carved by our ancestor, Shui Bing. He is the benefactor of our ancestor, Mohan said indifferently. Mohan said indifferently, Ancestor Shui Bing founded the Ice sect, so she owes this benefactor a great favor. As for looking like him, Mohan looked at Wang Feng. It's not like there aren't people who look the same in this world. It's just a coincidence. Coincidence? The 5 of them glanced at Wang Feng and then looked at the statue. It should be a coincidence. After all, the difference between the two was huge. Logically speaking, Shui Bing Er's ancestor was the founder of the Isia sect. She was a figure from 10,000 years ago. Although she didn't show her divinity, and outsiders didn't know how strong she was, the Isia sect was very strong. If this incident hadn't happened, the Isia sect's strength could be ranked in the top 10 of all the sects in the continent. The only flaw was that there hadn't been a titled Douluo above rank 97 in the past few years. Therefore, they were slightly inferior to the most powerful beings on the continent. But don't forget, this place is the absolute ice-forbidden land. Any titled Douluo's strength will automatically drop by 20% here. A rank 95 titled Douluo from the Isia sect could fight against a rank 97 titled Douluo. Therefore, the Isia sect was very powerful. Her ancestor must have been an exceptional Douluo when she founded the Isia sect. It was a pity that the Federation had too little information about the Isia sect. As members of the investigations department, even they knew very little about it. The roaring outside has disappeared. This statue can really resist those monsters? At this time, the other roars outside also disappeared. Jiang Yun was a little surprised. Of course. Mohan said proudly, "This is the statue of our ancestor, and it contains a powerful divine aura. You may not know, but our ancestor was also a god-level expert. Furthermore, this statue is made of millennium mysterious ice, and has the ability to condense the origin energy of heaven and earth. No evil spirit dares to approach it." If that's the case, then how was your Isia sect destroyed by those monsters? Hua Linghai frowned. This statue actually had such divine aura. How was the Isia sect destroyed? Previously, when Mu Engshuanzi joined forces with the 6 heavenly kings to defeat those monsters from the dark demon realm, the Isia sect was already destroyed. Strange. Mohan was startled and fell silent. Because there was an evil soul beast egg that was born in our Isia sect. Mohan had a bitter look on his face. Initially, our sect leader thought that it was an abandoned egg. He took pity on it and brought it back. After that, she raised it in the Isia sect. Because our Isia sect is close to the extreme north, we have a good relationship with many soul beasts. Later on, this evil soul beast egg gradually adapted to our Isia sect and the pressure of this statue over time. It even became stronger. After that, when we discovered it, it was already too late. At this point, Mohan didn't want to continue. Xingyang and the other 4 also understood that this situation was indeed despairing. Wang Feng listened quietly. The reason why he chose to go with the inspection department was because he wanted to know more information. He didn't want to rush into the extreme north and not know anything. From the current situation, Wang Feng seemed to have obtained a lot of useful information. If the extreme north is like this, then will the Great Star Do Forest be very serious? Wang Feng suddenly thought. Many evil soul beast eggs must have appeared in the Great Star Do Forest, and there must be many powerful soul beasts in the Great Star Do Forest. Once these powerful soul beasts were infected and turned into evil soul beasts, the situation wouldn't be optimistic. However, with the Federation's strength, they should be prepared for the Great Star Do Forest. In comparison, the extreme north was limited by its environment, and it was a huge obstacle for the Federation. The inspection department and Mohan from the Isia sect had given them a lot of useful information. Wang Feng was sure that the evil soul beasts born in the extreme north were much stronger than Mo Yin's. Furthermore, this Mohan, you guys rest here for a while. I'll go and see if there are any leftovers in the sect. I might be able to find something useful. Mohan looked around. It's best if you don't wander around. There are some special mechanisms in the Isia sect. Once triggered, I don't even know about some of them. Mohan said as he walked towards the door. Alright, what do you think when you see this statue? Jiang Yun asked with a smile. I feel. Wang Feng glanced at it. It's alright. It has 80% of my charm. Everyone. 80%? You're quite humorous. Hua Linghai laughed. The others laughed as well. They took Wang Feng's words as a form of self-mockery. Oh right, I keep feeling that there's something wrong with this Mohan. At this moment, Hua Linghai muttered. What's wrong? Why can't I feel it? Jiang Yun looked at him suspiciously. Oh! Wang Feng looked at Hua Linghai in surprise. I feel that he might be a little cold, but there's no big problem? He high-combed his messy long hair. As the temperature here was too low, even with the protection of his soul power, his long hair had become needle-like. Linghai, are you suspecting that he has ill intentions towards us? Lin Gang thought for a while. But this doesn't make sense. When we entered those tree tunnels, he kept persuading us to leave. It's obvious that he's worried about our safety. Linghai, tell us what you think? Xingyang looked around. End of chapter. Chapter 1195. They were surrounded by dilapidated ice sculptures and looked rather miserable. It was obvious that this place had been through a great battle, but there was nothing much to say. It could only mean that the Aisya sect had stubbornly resisted before they were destroyed. My thoughts, Hua Linghai pondered for a moment and said, before I came here, I researched many things about the extreme north. Since ancient times, although the extreme north is dangerous, there have been many adventurers who have gone there to explore the mysteries within and recorded these things. But most of them are unofficial records that are not recognized by the Federation. The main reason is that it is difficult to verify. But I feel that some of these unofficial records should be true. First of all, that tree-hole passage should be made of a type of stone called ice magnet. It can block spiritual power perception and is very hidden. It is hard for ordinary soul beasts to discover it. Also, this special passage should be used by the Aisya sect to guard against great danger. Hua Linghai recalled what happened before. When we came here, he said that the passage ahead had collapsed because of the battle with the evil soul beast. Don't you think there is a problem? He Hailin was a little confused. What problem was there? Wang Feng smiled and did not say anything. He just watched quietly. This kind of passage is definitely used by the Aisya sect to hide and defend. How could it collapse so easily from the attack of the evil soul beasts? Hua Linghai said in a low voice. Let's assume that this kind of situation really happened. Then think about it. The Aisya sect built this kind of passage for defense. Then, this passage made of ice magnet must have very strong defensive power. Can ordinary evil soul beasts cause this kind of passage to collapse? It must be an evil soul beast that is at least 10,000 years old. And this kind of evil soul beast is equivalent to a 100,000-year-old soul beast. If an evil soul beast of this level could cause the passage to collapse, how could it not discover this passage? Hearing this, everyone was slightly shocked. Taking a step back, even if these evil soul beasts were blind and did not discover this passage, this place is too strange. Hua Linghai looked around. First of all, that roar was indeed the roar of an evil soul beast. This means that there are remnants of evil soul beasts here. It can be imagined that the evil soul beasts that can survive in the absolute ice-forbidden land are at least 10,000 years old. It might not be a problem for a soul beast of this level to be frightened by the statue. But the strange thing was, Mohan was so familiar with this place. Why did he keep feeling that they were in danger? Now that you're here, it's hard to leave? And the most important thing is what he said just now. There are many suspicious points. Hua Linghai closed his eyes and pondered. He said that an evil soul beast egg was born in the Aisya sect, and because it was nurtured in the Aisya sect for a long time, it had adapted to this place. They were unable to destroy the egg before it was born. Later on, it was this monster from the Dark Devil realm that destroyed the Aisya sect. So, where is this monster now? It isn't afraid of this place. Hua Linghai said slowly. He's here, Wang Feng suddenly said. Hearing this, the group of people felt a chill in their hearts. But I didn't discover it. Jing Yang's expression changed as he looked at Hua Linghai. Hua Linghai immediately unleashed his spectacles martial soul. This time, he summoned his martial soul true body, which transformed into a huge pair of glasses that shone brightly in all directions. It was like a laser scan. A moment later, Hua Linghai returned to his original appearance and shook his head. I didn't find anything unusual. Of course you can't. Wang Feng shook his head. Do you know where it is? Hua Linghai was startled. Or is it not here, but outside? No. Wang Feng looked at the statue. He's here, far away on the horizon, but right in front of you. What do you mean? Everyone was stunned. Their hearts suddenly started beating wildly. You don't know what kind of existence the Isia sect's ancestor was? Wang Feng said slowly. A true god. Like ancestor Tang San in Shrek, the true god expert that surpassed rank 99. Hearing this, everyone was startled at first, but then they were shocked. But they were still a little confused. There were still godly experts in the past 10,000 years, but they were very few. There were only a few of them. Moreover, their reputations were not as great as those ancestors from 10,000 years ago. But they also represented the peak of an era. It had been at least 3,000 years since the last godly expert had appeared. Because of the energy tide, that exceptional Douluo had broken through to become a godly expert and disappeared from the continent. But there was no need to doubt the strength of a godly expert. As members of the investigation department, they didn't know that this ancestor of Isia sect was actually a godly expert. A godly expert is an existence that surpasses the peak of the world. Wang Feng looked at the statue. And the Isia sect is not simple. This is a place of inheritance of a god. This statue, the statue of a god, was personally made by Isia sect. It contains divine power. This, in fact, was the most suspicious point. A statue that contained divine power was similar to the Rakshasa god statue, angel god statue, and sea god statue in the Rakshasa secret realm. They all had great power. Logically speaking, those creatures that were born from eggs were all cannon fodder for the dark demon realm. Relying on a long period of gestation, they were born with the strength of a titled Douluo, but it was impossible for them to fight against these statues. Moreover, this was a statue that Isia sect had personally left behind. It definitely contained great power to protect the Isia sect. One had to know that this was the place where she had left her inheritance. How could it be destroyed so easily? It was impossible for Isia sect to not be able to do this. Jing Yang and the rest didn't know this. But what do you want to say? Hua Linghai asked after a moment of silence. I want to say, Wang Feng suddenly looked into the distance. The dark demon realm monster that was born from the egg is Mohan. Hearing this, everyone felt their scalps go numb and they felt a little dizzy. Impossible. I only suspect that Mohan is related to that monster, but how could it be Mohan? Hua Linghai was extremely shocked. Moreover, if it was Mohan, he could have killed us long ago? This is the reason why I said this. Wang Feng pointed at the statue. This is a statue left behind by a godly expert. It contains a great amount of divine power. After that monster was born in the Isia sect, it started a massacre and triggered the divine power contained in this statue. This divine power has a 99% chance of suppressing that monster. These monsters also have a soul link soul skill. It left one person behind and used this soul skill to read his memory. The difference in spiritual power between the two is too great. They can even control each other. Soul link. They also knew about this soul skill. After all, this soul skill had injured Heavenly King Star Spirit, one of the 12 Heavenly Kings. Heavenly King Star Spirit was an expert in spiritual power. He was the same. Not to mention these Isia sect disciples. Chapter 1196. And Mohan himself didn't die. A soul skill like Soul Link can't be used to control a dead person. Furthermore, I was only controlling it. That monster was suppressed by the statue, so it used its spiritual power to enter Mohan's mind and control him to contact the outside world," Wang Feng said slowly. "Therefore, he has been secretly reminding us to leave all along the way, especially before we entered this place. He was still reminding us to leave." "Then why didn't he say it directly?" Jiang Yun frowned. "He was threatened." Wang Feng stared into the distance. "Maybe the people from the Isia sect aren't dead and are hiding somewhere." Everyone's body shook. It could be said that this conclusion made them extremely shocked. "Why did that monster control Mohan to contact us?" He Hai asked doubtfully. "It seems like you don't know much about the monsters in the dark demon world." Wang Feng shook his head. "The essence of a soul skill like Soul Link is to obtain information. In order to obtain information about this world, he read the memories of the disciples of the Isia sect. Naturally, he wants to read more people's memories. When he has gathered enough information, he can launch an all-out attack and break through in one fell swoop. Think about it, if those monsters knew the strength, soul skills, strengths and weaknesses of all the titled Douluo on the continent, as well as their various organizational structures, world framework, social structure, etc. It would be easy to conquer this continent. The dark demon world was restricted by the rules of the God realm, so they couldn't send God-ranked experts in temporarily. However, with the strength of the dark demon world, even if they sent a group of cannon fodder, it would be enough to gather a large amount of information. You can't think of them as evil soul beasts, a type of monster. Instead, you should think of them as life forms with extremely high intelligence, not inferior to humans at all. Wang Feng said slowly, "From the very beginning, that monster has been luring us here. The reason is naturally because he is suppressed here and can't leave the Isia sect. He can only display his strength in the Isia sect. From the collapse of the tunnel at the beginning, Mohan's warning, and the roar after entering the absolute ice-frozen land. But it was all intentional. There weren't so many coincidences. And what made Wang Feng deduce this was when he saw these two statues after arriving at the Isia sect. He also discovered that these two statues were carved by Shui Bing herself. Wang Feng immediately understood. Clap, 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 clap. At this moment, a round of applause sounded. The group looked towards the source of the sound. They saw Mohan slowly walking over. However, the Mohan in front of him was very different from before. There was a sinister smile on his face. His body exuded a dense dark demonic energy. His originally ice-blue hair had turned pitch black. There were also some strange demonic runes on his body. Seeing this, Wang Feng knew that he had guessed wrongly. Mohan wasn't controlled by the other party's soul link. Instead, he originated from the evil soul beast's egg. Like Lin Lord Bingmu, he was born from an evil soul beast's egg. The difference was that the Qilin Lord wasn't devoured by the evil consciousness within the egg. Instead, it was devoured instead because it was a million-year soul beast. As for the weak Mohan, he was slowly being devoured. If his guess was correct, he was indeed suppressed here. Once he left the Isia sect, his strength and aura would disappear. As a result, it couldn't leave this place for long periods of time. Human, you are very smart to be able to guess so much. However, you must know a lot. Mohan smiled and said, "Since you've guessed it, why don't you run away?" Wang Feng also smiled. "Because I know that you must know a lot. You must know the situation in the extreme north like the back of your hand. There must be a special way to transmit information between the two of you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to tell that the evil soul beast outside helped you." Wang Feng's words meant that through the soul link, he could also read the other party's memories and know the situation in the extreme north. Furthermore, there was only one other party. Logically speaking, if there were more beings of dark demon world like Moen, it would be very troublesome for Wang Feng to deal with them. He was only rank 26 and had only opened one of his 5 God King seals. If there were 3 or 4 Mo-in in the purple maple soul beast forest, Wang Feng would have been the first to retreat. Think about it, Mu Engshuanzi and the 6 heavenly kings could only kill 3 or 4 of them. Wang Feng wasn't that strong yet. It was just right to deal with one. Oh! Mohan raised his eyebrows. The prey wants to become the hunter? With just the few of you? Xingyang and the others' expressions changed. They didn't expect that everything was similar to what Wang Feng said. It was true. Hua Linghai only sensed that something was wrong. However, Wang Feng saw through everything. This kind of monster can't be killed. It's very troublesome. Let's retreat first. Hua Linghai said in a low voice. They were starting to regret not listening to Mohan's advice. It was very likely that Mohan's remaining spiritual power had taken control of his body to warn them. Unfortunately, who would know? Retreat. Mohan laughed heartily. Immediately after, he suddenly let out a loud and clear cry. Instantly, the ground began to tremble. It was the sound of the earth shaking. It was the sound of the evil soul beast running on the glacier. It's too late. Mohan shook his head. Unfortunately, even if you guessed it, you've already eaten it. From the moment you stepped into this place, your lives are in my hands. I'll hold him. You guys leave first. Linghai, you lead the team. Zheng Yang took a deep breath and shouted. In the next moment, Zheng Yang transformed into a 60 to 70 meter long snow falcon. It blotted out the sky and covered the sun like an ancient giant beast. At the core of the flying snow falcon, there was a gem-like core that was shining brightly. Elder Zheng. Hua Linghai gritted his teeth. The extreme north was indeed extremely dangerous. These monsters from the dark demon realm were extremely cunning. No wonder Heavenly King Star Spirit was injured. Zheng Yang, who had transformed into his martial soul true body, released a powerful aura. He wanted to fight it out with his opponent. But it was obvious that Zheng Yang had underestimated his opponent's strength. Wang Feng frowned slightly and quickly walked in front of the statue. Teacher Wang, what are you doing? Hurry up and leave with us. Hua Linghai said hurriedly. There's no hurry. Wang Feng looked at the statue and suddenly laughed. But at this moment, something even worse happened. One after another, evil soul beasts emerged from the glaciers outside like bamboo shoots after a rain. They had been preparing for a long time. You overestimate yourself. Mohan looked at Xingyang and sneered. He stood still and took Xingyang's snow claw attack head-on. But he was not hurt at all. This beast should be in his original form now. If he was outside, he would be vulnerable. Wang Feng shook his head. With Zheng Yang's strength, it was impossible for him to defeat Mohan. Previously, Wang Feng could not even defeat Mohan with his full strength. Physical attacks were simply too weak for these creatures of the dark demon realm. End of chapter. Chapter 1197. Wang Feng could injure Moin, but Zheng Yang, who wasn't known for his offensive power, couldn't even injure him. In addition, Zheng Yang was an agility type. Wang Feng looked up at the sky. Previously, he had used the thunder punishment of judgment and the origin energy to kill Moin. After that, he used the angel of light and dark as a spiritual link. Under normal circumstances, they wouldn't know. Let's go. Hua Linghai walked over and said anxiously. Just as he finished speaking, Zheng Yang was like an arrow with a broken string as he charged towards the ice sculptures at the side. He smashed the already dilapidated buildings into smithereens. Seeing this, the rest were stunned. In the next second, Zheng Yang's eyes turned red as he charged towards Mohan again. However, Wang Feng stopped him. I have an idea. Don't attack. Wang Feng said plainly, you can't defeat him. Once he said that, everyone was stunned. Oh! Mohan was walking towards them. When he heard Wang Feng's words, he laughed. I want to see how you can deal with Mo Yuan. Mo Yuan was his origin, and his name in the dark demon world. What idea do you have? Xingyang coughed out a few mouthfuls of blood. How could a rank 26 soul master deal with a monster from the dark demon world? Xingyang didn't know. But at this point, he knew that their chances of survival were infinitely close to zero. From the short exchange earlier, he estimated that Mo Yuan was at least rank 93. Furthermore, his body was extremely strong. It's simple. Wang Feng looked at Mo Yuan. Mo Yuan was much stronger than Mo Yin. In terms of soul power rank, Mo Yin was around rank 91. He could fight a rank 92 titled Doulu. Mo Yuan was around rank 93. He could fight a rank 94 titled Dalu. He was very strong. It would be difficult for Wang Feng to deal with him easily. Even with Lin Lord Bingmu and Long Xie, it wouldn't be easy. Actually, you've made a fatal mistake, Wang Feng suddenly said. What mistake? Mo Yuan was a little curious. When you saw us, you shouldn't have brought us here, Wang Feng said. Hearing this, Mo Yuan was taken aback. He laughed a few times and said, If I didn't bring you here, how would I have subdued you and read your memories? You guessed it so accurately. I was indeed sealed by the power of this statue, but the range of the seal is limited to any area other than this place. As long as I am here, I can make a move. Didn't you guess correctly? Let me ask you, which statue was it that sealed you? Wang Feng asked. Mo Yuan frowned slightly and looked at the statue of Shui Binger. There's one, right? Wang Feng let out a sigh. But have you ever wondered why the statue didn't show any reaction? Mo Yuan looked at the statue of Wang Feng. What are you trying to say? Zheng Yang and the other four also looked at Wang Feng in confusion. What did he mean? Wang Feng smiled without saying anything. Then, he touched his own statue. An ice-cold feeling came from inside as soul power was transmitted into the statue. In an instant, the statue suddenly burst out with an intense, dazzling, icy light. At the same time, Shui Bing Er's statue also shone brightly. Impossible! Mo Yuan's eyes widened, as if he had seen something. He had read the memories of the disciples of the Aisya sect, so he naturally knew what these two statues represented. He had no choice but to be sealed by Shui Bing Er's statue. Shui Bing Er was a god-rank expert, and this statue was left behind by her to inherit the ice god position. His destruction of the Aisya sect offended the divine might left behind by this statue. If not for the fact that the god realm's perception of the Douluo continent was blocked, perhaps Shui Bing would have directly sent a strand of her divine sense into the statue and killed Mo Yuan. Unfortunately, the god realm couldn't sense the Douluo continent, so they could only rely on the divine power contained in this statue to suppress and seal Mo Yuan. However, the disciples of the Aisya sect knew very little about the other statue. They only knew that this statue belonged to the benefactor of their ancestor, Shui Bing. In order to commemorate their benefactor, it was carved. Other than that, there was nothing strange about it, but at this moment, an extremely terrifying divine power erupted from this statue. A towering figure rose in front of this statue. It was Wang Feng. At the same time, an illusory figure rose from Shui Bing Er's body. It was Shui Bing Er's appearance. These two illusory figures were at least a few meters tall. Their expressions were ancient, and their faces were cold, but they were bright and full of spirit. They looked as if they were real. They hadn't seen each other for 10,000 years, but Shui Bing Er's illusory figure didn't seem to have changed much. Ice-blue long hair, a charming and beautiful face, and an exquisite and perfect body. The illusory figure shouted and suddenly rushed to Wang Feng's illusory figure, fusing into one. The two different types of energy fused into one. In an instant, the aura of Wang Feng's illusory figure increased by 30%. It was as if a god had descended to the world, emitting an impressive divine might. Mo Yuan's expression was extremely gloomy, and he was very confused. He didn't realize that there was actually such a powerful force left behind in the other statue. It was simply inconceivable. The rest of the people couldn't understand this scene. Only Wang Feng knew, and the corner of his mouth twitched. Actually, when he looked at his own statue, Wang Feng felt strange. The inside of the statue vaguely gave him a special feeling. After careful observation, he realized that his statue wasn't an ordinary statue. It also contained Shui Bing, Er's divine power, because it was carved by Shui Bing herself. Not only that, Shui Bing also added a little something inside. It could be said that it was an Easter egg. This statue of his could only be triggered by himself. And this was the content of the trigger. Shui Bing had inserted a wisp of her consciousness into the two statues. One was her own consciousness, and the other was Wang Feng's consciousness in her memory. Shui Bing used this statue to hide her consciousness in it. She had placed it there for 10,000 years, waiting for herself to wake up. If fate brought Wang Feng to the Aisya sect, he would definitely be touched by the scenery and touched his own statue, sighing with emotion. It would trigger the joint action of these two statues. The consciousness in Shui Bing, Er's statue would turn into Shui Bing, Er's appearance, and the consciousness in Wang Feng's statue would turn into Wang Feng's appearance. Once triggered, they would hug and crash into each other, combining into one, and erupting with a huge power. Wang Feng didn't know that there would be such an Easter egg. He originally thought that since his statue also contained Shui Bing, Er's divine power, he could use it to easily defeat Mo Yuan. But he never thought that there would be such a thing. If fate didn't bring Wang Feng to the Aisya sect, or if he came here and didn't touch the statues, then the secret in these two statues and Shui Bing, Er's consciousness, no one would know. What a meticulous scheme. P.S. 4 chapters. Brothers, I think I might have withered. End of chapter. Chapter 1198. These girls really have a lot of thoughts. Wang Fengxin thought to himself, luckily, the God realm can't sense the continent right now. If Shui Bing can't sense what's going on here, should I pretend that I didn't see anything? Wang Feng obviously didn't expect this to happen. Hiding one's thoughts in the statue had a special trigger condition. If it wasn't triggered, perhaps no one would know about it in this lifetime. Furthermore, Shui Bing, Er's method of hiding her thoughts was also very rare. At this moment, as the divine power in the two statues erupted, everyone was naturally stunned. Fortunately, they couldn't understand what was going on with the two statues. They only thought that the power within the two statues had produced some kind of resonance, resulting in such a powerful attack. How did he do it? Jing Yang and the rest were very curious, and their hearts were filled with questions. Wang Feng didn't care too much about it. After channeling his soul power into the statue and triggering the power within, his spiritual power entered the shadow formed by the statue. He was even able to activate and control the powerful divine power formed by these two special thoughts, and he didn't need to expend any of his own strength. In the next moment, then, the huge shadow statue turned into a rolling waterfall and swept toward the demon abyss. The crystal-clear water seemed to be able to cover everything. The powerful soul power undulations indicated that it had surpassed the soul power undulations of this world. Mo Yuan's body erupted with an equally powerful dark demonic aura. The demonic patterns on his body were sinister, and seemed to be trying to resist this powerful force. However, as the fusion of the divine power and Shui Bing, Er's intense, this projection strength wasn't something he could resist. The divine power of one statue could only suppress and seal him. The two statues were different. Furthermore, this was a fusion of divine power. Not to mention Mo Yuan, even a rank 99 transcendent Douluo couldn't resist this force. Almost instantly, the dark demonic aura that erupted from Mo Yuan was extinguished by this gurgling waterfall, and his entire body was wrapped in it. At a speed visible to the naked eye, Mo Yuan's body started to be crushed into powder. Impossible! A blood-curdling scream rang out from Mo Yuan's mouth. He had never thought that he would be destroyed in such a way in a place like this. At this moment, Mo Yuan looked at Wang Feng beside the statue. He seemed to have thought of something, and suddenly screamed. His body started to melt at an even faster rate, and balls of black energy emerged from his body. A dark shadow appeared at the same time. In the next moment, the black shadow headed straight for Wang Feng, completely bypassing the attack of the waterfall. This was soul energy. You must have consumed a lot of energy to activate this power, right? This black figure let out a hoarse and deep voice. Like a wisp of smoke, it flew around Wang Feng. Unfortunately, although this energy can destroy my body, it can't destroy my soul. The cold voice was accompanied by a burst of complacent laughter. This wisp of smoke quickly flew into Wang Feng's mind. You will be under my control. Wei Wei's voice sounded. This caused Zheng Yang and the others' expressions to change drastically. Soul Link, Zheng Yang said with a trembling voice, oh no. This monster is actually using this soul skill at a time like this. Originally, he thought that this monster would be destroyed by the power of the statue, but he didn't expect it to be able to use such a soul skill. This was the first time they had seen such a soul skill. Activating the power of the statue will definitely consume a large amount of soul power. Hua Linghai said in a low voice, Jiang Yun, try and see if you can help him. Help him get rid of the other party's soul power. We can't let him be controlled like Mohan. Jiang Yun nodded and immediately walked in front of Wang Feng with the others. That monster was so cunning even before he died. He must have known that activating the statue would consume a large amount of soul power. When he was destroyed, Wang Feng was also in a weak state. He sighed. It's impossible to guard against it. Even the Star Spirit King couldn't resist this soul skill. He had to rely on his extraordinary spiritual power to forcefully devour the latter. But the minister said that the Star Spirit King's memories might have been discovered. It's just that he's still here. His spiritual power can't compare to the Star Spirit King. It's very likely that he'll be like Mohan, his soul will be devoured and controlled. At that time, we can only... Speaking of this, he paused. Jiang Yun used her light ball martial soul and landed on Wang Feng's head. She used her soul skill to help Wang Feng recover his spiritual power, hoping that he could withstand the impact of the soul link. The group watched intently. Wang Feng wasn't surprised at all. To be precise, he had been waiting for this moment. Waiting for the other party to use the soul link. The demon abyss wanted to search their memories, but on the other hand, Wang Feng also needed to search their memories. Speaking of which, Wang Feng felt that it was slightly strange. Although this soul skill had more advantages than disadvantages to the Dark Demon world. But why would the Dark Demon world invent such a soul skill? In essence, this soul skill would still expose the situation of the Dark Demon world. Although these cannon fodders didn't know much, once they were overturned and their memories were discovered by the humans, they could use this to defend themselves, right? Wasn't this causing trouble for his disciple for nothing? Why didn't they change this soul skill into a one-sided memory devouring? For a God-rank expert, it wasn't that difficult to change a soul skill. One had to know that in Wang Feng's speculation, the Dark Demon world and the God world belonged to the same level. It wasn't difficult to change a mere soul skill, right? For example, as a God King, Tang San, it was easy for him to change the soul skills of the Douluo continent. Why would a soul skill like Soul Link appear? Why wasn't it a one-sided soul devouring or soul explosion to prevent the enemy from finding out the situation of the Dark Demon world? Wang Feng already had this suspicion when he devoured Mo Yin's memories. In his sea of consciousness, the soul of the demon abyss laughed arrogantly. Human, your soul is really beautiful. I knew you weren't ordinary. It's a pity that you calculated everything and even knew a secret that I didn't. You didn't expect that you would fall for it, right? His soul lit up with 9 special halos. The pitch-black halos were different from the black 10,000-year soul rings. These halos were black with a tinge of gray and were incomparably dark. As the soul of the main body of the demon abyss, these 9 halos were the embodiment of their strength. They were called demon rings. In Mo Yin's memories, there was an introduction to this kind of demon ring. Similar to soul rings, all the living beings of the dark demon world needed to condense a demon ring to advance to the next level. But this kind of demon ring didn't need to kill soul beasts or the like. This was because the bodies of the dark demon race possessed powerful strength. Their demon rings were condensed from their own cultivation and were completely different from humans. End of this chapter. Chapter 1199. The humans in the Douluo world were just ordinary creatures. However, the dark demons were extremely powerful and were born with strong combat power. They did not need the power of soul beasts to break through. Those who cultivated the demon ring were called soul demons. Since that's the case, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and devour me. Wang Feng said lazily. You actually came to my consciousness. As the host, tell me, how do you want to devour me? I'll satisfy you. Mo Yuan. What's going on? Why doesn't this human seem to be afraid? Is there a trap? Mo Yuan looked at the consciousness in front of him. There were a few drops of silver water pillars in the middle. It was a kind of highly condensed spiritual energy. It was rare to see a human's spiritual energy condensed to such a degree. However, it was not impossible. There was nothing special about it. He looked at the center and his pupils constricted slightly. He saw a mysterious angel with 14 pairs of light wings. This is... Mo Yuan's soul was agitated. 14 pairs of light wings. 7 black and 7 gold. Not to mention seeing it, he had never even heard of it. He knew about the martial souls in this world, but this martial soul, this aura, Mo Yuan muttered. If the 7 golden wings were covered, it would be a little like, at this moment, the mysterious angel suddenly opened her eyes. With a flash of light, the majestic figure flashed in front of Mo Yuan. In an instant, an extremely powerful pressure caused Mo Yuan's soul to roar. Mo Yuan's soul could not help but kneel down. The angel of light and dark's black and gold eyes had an extreme demonic aura. Wang Feng was a little surprised. This was the angel of light and dark acting on her own. It was rare. Obviously, she was also affected by Mo Yuan's soul. After all, she had absorbed Mo Yin's soul previously. Then, the angel of light and dark raised her hand slightly and grabbed Mo Yuan. The 7 black wings behind her flashed. Instantly, Mo Yuan's soul was sucked in. An extremely frightened voice sounded from Mo Yuan's soul. No, this impossible. First, it was frightened. Then the voice changed. So it's your power, you're really still here. This is my honor, the intermittent voice sounded and gradually disappeared. His voice changed from fear to disbelief, and finally to excitement and respect. Immediately after, memories flooded out of the angel of light and dark martial soul. The situation in the demonic abyss did not exceed Wang Feng's expectations. According to Wang Feng's conjecture, the dark angel martial spirit most likely came from the dark demon world. The angels of light and dark were formed from the fusion of the dark angel martial soul. Previously, Wang Feng had taken the initiative to devour Mo Yin's soul. After being reminded by Lin Lord Bingmu, he had switched to the angels of light and dark martial soul. However, he had not been able to sense the angels of light and dark martial soul in time. This time, the angel of light and dark martial soul had taken the initiative to devour the demon abyss. Looks like the dark angel martial soul given by the system and the dark fallen angel judged by the god realm really came from the dark devil realm. Wang Fengxin said. Furthermore, the dark angel god, who possessed strength close to that of a divine king after falling, should be an important figure in the dark demon realm. Mo Yuan had slightly more memories than Mo Yin. It was mainly about his understanding of the far north. The far north was a complex place that was many times more complex than the purple maple soul beast forest. Wang Feng's heart sank as he combed through the memories of the demonic abyss. The situation was much more troublesome than he had imagined. At least 10 soul demons from the Dark Devil clan have been born in the far north. They are all 9-ringed soul demons, and there is even a 10-ringed god-rank soul demon being nurtured, Wang Feng murmured. The soul demons were the same as titled Doulu. This was the general system of the Dark Devil realm. It was somewhat similar to the Douluo world, but there were also huge differences. They were fundamentally different. Furthermore, the Dark Devil Chi in the Dark Devil realm was a higher grade energy. The Dark Devil Chi cultivated was much stronger than soul power. This was also the reason why these 9-ringed soul demons were stronger than titled Douluo of the same level. Furthermore, soul demons did not have martial souls, but they had demonic weapons. A demonic weapon that was born in the body of a soul demon. Soul demons relied on their demonic weapons to become stronger. Fortunately, there was no Dark Devil Chi in the Douluo world, so they could not use their demonic weapons. Otherwise, these soul demons in the Dark Devil realm would become even stronger. This was also the reason why Moin and the other soul demons would first release Dark Devil Chi into the forest after appearing. Other than infecting the evil soul beasts, it was more to create an environment suitable for them. Furthermore, the Douluo continent's heaven and earth origin energy could easily turn into Dark Devil Chi. This was not good news. To be precise, there was not a single piece of good news in these memories. They were all extremely bad news. The worst one was that there were soul demons born in the extreme ice layer. This was because a 10-ringed god-rank soul demon needed powerful heaven and earth origin energy as support. There were life forms in the extreme ice layer that could give birth to god-rank soul demons. A god-rank soul demon was basically a rank 100 powerhouse, a god-rank powerhouse. However, Wang Feng knew that god-rank powerhouses were also divided into different levels, which were the levels of the god realm. Above rank 100, there were rank 110 to rank 150. However, this level belonged to god-rank powerhouses. They would not appear in the Douluo continent. However, the Dark Devil realm was very special. The Dark Devil realm was a multidimensional world, not a simple spherical mortal world like the Douluo continent. It was a magical world similar to the coexistence of the God realm and the mortal world, but it was relatively independent. From the memories of Moin and Mo Yuan, the power and vastness of the Dark Devil realm might be much greater than Wang Feng imagined. Looks like I have to hurry to the extreme ice layer. Wang Feng took a deep breath. It was unrealistic to want to deal with so many soul demons alone. Fortunately, there was Qing Qing and the others. After 10,000 years, these 8 fellows had become very strong. In addition, they had become overlords by Qing Qing's side. Not to mention 1,000,000 years, as long as they did not slack off, they should have at least 60 to 70 years of cultivation, right? He knew the details of the number and situation. Wang Fengxin thought to himself that he had made the right decision to come this time. The problem with these soul demons was not that it was difficult to defeat them, but to kill them. In addition, there was a soul skill like spiritual link. Once Qing Qing and the others were hit, even if only one of them was hit, it would be fatal. Because the 8 of them had been together for 10,000 years, they definitely knew each other very well. They also knew the situation in the extreme ice layer very well. Knowing this, it would be much easier to deal with them. Thinking of this, Wang Feng came back to his senses and slowly opened his eyes. He saw Jing Yang and the others surrounding him with cold expressions. "What are you doing?" End of chapter. Chapter 1200. Wang Feng looked at them in astonishment. The 5 of them were all stunned. "Are you all right?" Jing Yang reacted, his gaze focused, and there was a hint of killing intent in his eyes. If the other party was really controlled by that monster from the dark devil world, they would definitely kill the other party immediately. Otherwise, a situation like Mohan would occur again. Not to mention Wang Feng, any one of them would do the same. I'm fine. Wang Feng sighed. Soul Link is a two-way soul skill. He searched my memories, but I also searched his memories. Just now You did it on purpose. Hua Linghai was stunned. You can say that. I originally planned to let him use this soul link. Wang Feng nodded slightly. Wang Feng just said that Mo Yuan had made a fatal mistake. This mistake was that when Mo Yuan saw Wang Feng and knew that Wang Feng looked exactly the same as this statue, he didn't have his guard up. It was also because Mo Yuan thought that Wang Feng and this statue couldn't have any connection at all. Because Mo Yuan knew the origins of this statue and the situation of the Isya sect. If he didn't make this mistake, the situation would be different. You? Xingyang looked at him in astonishment. On purpose? How did he have such courage? If we want to understand the extreme north, or understand more about the dark devil world, then we have to accept this soul link. Wang Feng continued. The more we know, the more information we'll get. That's why they're doing this. This is a double-edged sword. Hearing this, the group fell silent. Your courage is really admirable. Xingyang said slowly. Although that's the reason, we soul masters avoid it like the plague. I didn't expect you to take the initiative to try it. The rest of them were even more solemn. Obviously, they were shocked by Wang Feng's idea, but they were also very impressed. Are you a spiritual type soul master? The souls of such monsters are very strong, even titled Douluo can't bear it. Even if they aren't swallowed, they will be injured by this soul skill. Jiang Yun was a little confused. Wang Feng smiled faintly and said, I have a special spiritual power cultivation method. The strength of my soul can be considered passable. This is related to my martial soul. Hearing this, everyone was enlightened. In this day and age, there was basically no way to cultivate spiritual power. If that was the case, then even though the other party's soul power was only around rank 20, his actual spiritual power was far beyond that. If it was because of his martial spirit, then it made sense. There are still some people left in the Isya sect's underground cavern. You can release them later. Wang Feng said. Mo Yuan only killed a small number of people. Most of them were used to threaten Mohan's soul. This Mohan is the most pitiful. No problem. Elder Jing sensed it just now. I've already sent Lin Gang there. Hua Linghai said, however, we can't leave this place for now because it's surrounded by evil soul beasts. Furthermore, this statue doesn't seem to be able to stop those evil soul beasts. Hua Linghai's expression darkened. The divine power within the statue had disappeared because of the fusion, causing the statue to lose some of its charm and might. Naturally, it was unable to withstand the attack. I have my ways. Wang Feng walked outside. These evil soul beasts weren't soul demons. They were just soul beasts that had been infected, so they were easy to deal with. The few of them followed after him. Because they already knew the details of the extreme north, Wang Feng naturally planned to head to the extreme ice layer as soon as possible. Right, how are the 3 Douluo heavenly kings? Xingyang asked. You've sensed Mo Yuan's memories. Do you know anything about their situation? Wang Feng paused and said, their situation isn't good. Right now, we only know that they're near the extreme ice layer. They're surrounded by at least 5 9-ringed soul demons, which are those monsters. They're still bitterly resisting. I don't know the details. 9-ringed soul demons are the strength of those monsters in the dark demon realm. Their division of victory is similar to ours, but their strength is very different. The few of them fell silent. They didn't expect the situation to be so complicated. At this moment, Wang Feng arrived outside the Isya sect. Layers and layers of evil soul beasts surged over like a tide. They looked extremely terrifying. Most of them were 1,000-year evil soul beasts. Occasionally, 1 or 2 10,000-year evil soul beasts could be seen. Furthermore, they were all evil soul beasts from the extreme north. So many? Jiang Yun cried out. She didn't know before coming out to take a look. Now that she saw it, she was scared out of her wits. Who could withstand this? I haven't shown you the power of a soul-bonding beast yet. However, Wang Feng smiled slightly. You can take advantage of this opportunity. Oh right, you can also find a suitable soul-bonding beast. When the few of them heard this, they were stunned. They seemed to have just remembered that Deacon Yuan wanted Teacher Wang to come with them to help them become soul charmers. Soul-bonding beast. For them, this was a completely new concept, and also an unknown body type. Although the light image soul tool that Yuan Hong gave had a detailed description of Wang Feng's soul charmers, but an introduction and seeing it with their own eyes were two different things. Ice Qilin. Wang Feng looked at the sky. Above the endless ice sky, a light figure suddenly flashed. The few of them immediately raised their heads and looked up. They saw a majestic soul beast, emitting a distant light figure in the ice sky. Its appearance and posture were completely different from a soul beast. It was more like a god that controlled the world. At first, the few of them were shocked. Just its appearance and posture alone was enough to shock them. They even had a thought in their hearts. How could there be such a soul beast in this world? Actually, their feelings weren't wrong. That was because in the extreme north, Qilin Lord Isimu was really a god. In ancient times, this place was slowly born because of Qilin Lord Isimu's absolute ice power. Then, as time passed, the earth changed and formed this place. Has this soul beast been following us all this time? Xingyang was in disbelief. I didn't sense it at all. In the extreme north, if Qilin Lord Isimu wanted to hide, especially in a place like the absolute ice forbidden land, even an exceptional Douluo might not be able to sense it. Freeze all these soul beasts! Wang Feng shouted loudly. In the sky. Qilin Lord Isimu nodded slightly. Suddenly, a ball of blinding light exploded from its body. The ice-colored patterns flowed with the ultimate power of absolute ice. Boundless absolute ice power was released from Qilin Lord Isimu's body. Together with the enhancement from the absolute ice forbidden land, the absolute ice power that Qilin Lord Isimu unleashed was pushed to the limit. Whoosh whoosh. Qilin Lord Isimu let out a long roar and dove down. The boundless absolute ice power was like a ball of blinding icy-colored light. In an instant, countless evil soul beasts were quickly frozen by this icy-colored light. Qilin Lord Isimu didn't even expend any energy. This was because the absolute ice forbidden land contained the power of absolute ice. It was just that after Qilin Lord Isimu disappeared, it slowly weakened. He only needed to use this place to freeze all these evil soul beasts. Seeing this scene, Zheng Yang and the others were indescribably shocked. It was too spectacular. Chapter 1201. Countless evil soul beasts of all shapes and sizes turned into ice sculptures as Lin Lord Ice Emu flew past them. Only 1 or 2 of the stronger 10,000-year evil soul beasts managed to hold on for a while, but they didn't manage to escape. 10,000 years ago, the absolute ice forbidden land was a place that even the 100,000-year soul beasts in the extreme north didn't dare to enter. One could only imagine how perverse this place was. Although Lin Lord Ice Emu had left and weakened a lot, it was different now that Lin Lord Ice Emu was back. It's too scary. What kind of soul beast is that? Xing Yang's body trembled slightly. If such a soul beast were to appear on the battlefield, it would be able to destroy heaven and earth. I won't say anything unnecessary. Wang Feng said slowly. Soul beasts are a life form that can't be ignored in the Douluo world. In the past, we relied on killing soul beasts to obtain strength. But in reality, becoming partners with soul beasts allows us to unleash the soul beast's strength. Killing soul beasts to obtain soul rings is like drinking poison to quench one's thirst. killing the goose that lays the golden eggs. The group was silent. This shocking scene, coupled with Wang Feng's words, shocked them to the core. Even though this soul beast was definitely very special, its strength was undeniable. In just a few minutes, all of the evil soul beasts had been frozen. Looking at the countless ice sculptures, the scene was very spectacular. They were frozen by the power of absolute ice and were in the absolute ice forbidden land. These evil soul beasts couldn't break out of the ice. Let's go. Follow me to choose a soul-bonding beast. Wang Feng smiled. Everyone was stunned and couldn't react. But these are evil soul beasts. He exclaimed, can evil soul beasts also occasionally become soul-bonding beasts? Won't we be infected? Soul masters couldn't absorb special energy like dark demonic chi. They won't be in a while. Wang Feng waved at Lin Lord Ice Emu. Lin Lord Ice Emu flew near Wang Feng and floated in midair. Only then did the group of people see it clearly. It was a half-human soul beast with black and white ice patterns. It looked very majestic and exuded a powerful aura. My soul-bonding beast has the extreme darkness attribute and can absorb dark demonic chi. Plus, he's the ruler of ice-type soul beasts, so he can awaken them. Wang Feng explained simply. These were not empty words. This was indeed the case. These evil soul beasts were originally soul beasts from the extreme north, but they had been infected by the dark demonic energy. If the infection period was not long, then all he had to do was absorb the dark devil chi in their bodies and use a special power to awaken them. And Qilin Lord Isimu happened to possess both of these traits. He had the ultimate darkness attribute, and this attribute was due to the dark demonic chi, which was why Wang Feng called him the Dark Ice Qilin Monarch. Furthermore, the icy Qilin Lord possessed the power of absolute ice. It was an ancestral ice-type soul beast, and it was naturally able to awaken these soul beasts that had lost themselves due to the invasion of dark demonic energy. If it were any other type of soul beast, it wouldn't have been so easy. Lin Lord Bingmu nodded slightly. Looking at these evil soul beasts, there was a tinge of sadness in his eyes. He didn't really care about the soul beasts in the other forest. However, the soul beasts in the extreme north were all his descendants, and they were inseparable from his birth. As long as it was a soul beast native to the extreme north, it would be inseparable from him. The extreme north was slowly formed by the power of absolute ice, and the endless glaciers gave birth to many ice-type soul beasts. After absorbing the dark demonic chi in these evil soul beasts, your cultivation should increase to 10,000 years. Wang Feng glanced at him. Not only that, it should be around 30,000 years. Lin Lord Bingmu pondered. However, after absorbing it, I should sleep for a period of time. The dark demonic chi still has some effect on me. I have 2 different powers in my body, and the power of absolute ice needs to be cultivated to become stronger. Oh yes, when the time comes I'll help you form 2 soul cores. Wang Feng muttered, since the Shi Douluo can form the yin-yang twin soul cores, you have the power of absolute ice. As a soul beast, you possess 2 extreme attributes and can also form 2 soul cores. When the time comes, if you reach 1,000,000 years, you will definitely be able to rival those gods. You might even surpass them. Wow. Boss, I'm a little envious of you. What about me? Long Xie transmitted his voice in the soul domain. When you reach 100,000 years, your second evolution will naturally change your bloodline. When you reach 1,000,000 years, your third evolution will happen. You might even become the second dragon god. You won't be inferior to the Ice Qilin. Wang Feng thought for a while. Wang Feng wanted Long Xie to grow this way. It wouldn't be much weaker than the Lin Lord Bingmu. Oh yes, Ice Qilin, can you see if there are any evil soul beasts with the power of absolute ice here? After you awaken them, you can find one for Ma Xiaotao. Wang Feng asked. Yes. Lin Lord Bingmu turned around. The power of absolute ice isn't difficult to cultivate. Soul beasts with rare bloodlines can cultivate it after 50,000 years. Actually, the dark demonic chi is a very special energy. It can greatly stimulate a soul beast's bloodline power and increase the strength of a soul beast's body. However, it also has a terrifying side effect. Soul beasts below 100,000 years can't adapt to it. Those above 100,000 years are also in danger. Their souls would be easily corroded by the fierce, devilish nature contained in the dark devil chi. Unless your soul is strong enough, it's only possible. Speaking of which, boss, you placed my soul in the egg of the evil soul beast and nurtured it. This allowed me to have a body that can adapt to the dark demonic chi. In addition, I have the power of absolute ice. That's why I'm so special now. I'm even stronger than I was 10,000 years ago. Lin Lord Bingmu sighed. Wang Feng smiled. His idea back then came from the system's reward. Now that he thought about it, it was actually the system's notification. Following that, he led the group to look for soul-bonding beasts. Soon, Wang Feng found a soul beast with the power of absolute ice. A dark ice fox. This fox looked very beautiful. Its entire body was covered in pure white fur. It had 3 tails that were like palm leaf fans. There was long icy fur on its head and neck. In the center of its forehead, there was a diamond-shaped mark. Its strength was more than 10,000 years. It looked soft and weak, but it was actually a very strong ice-type soul beast that possessed the ability to control. It was very suitable for Ma Xiaotao. After absorbing the dark demonic chi from the dark ice fox, Lin Lord Bingmu condensed a trace of absolute ice power and sent it into the dark ice fox to awaken her soul. After a while, the dark ice fox woke up and looked at Lin Lord Bingmu with its pure white eyes. It let out a cry and ran to Lin Lord Bingmu's feet. It half squatted and crawled. It looked very cute. Oh, old Bing, is this little fox offering her body to you? Do you soul beasts from the extreme north like to play this game? Long Xie laughed and transmitted his voice. Lin Lord Bingmu. P.S. I have to wither for a few days. Chapter 1202. The Ice Fox definitely didn't want to marry him. She wanted to express her gratitude to Lin Lord Bingmu. Dark demonic energy wasn't suitable for soul beasts like them. If they were infected and turned into evil soul beasts, their consciousness would be hard to control. They would lose their souls and be controlled by the creatures from the dark devil world. There might be a small number of soul beasts that could survive and use their strong willpower to mutate and adapt to the dark demonic energy. However, this was definitely a minority. At least, Wang Feng hadn't met one yet. The next problem was how to send the ice fox to Ma Xiaotao. This type of soul beast was rare and had high intelligence. It wasn't difficult to communicate with them. Ice Qilin, talk to her and see if she's willing to become a human's soul-bonded beast. Wang Feng said. Lin Lord Bingmu was an ancestor-level existence that had lived in the extreme north for countless years. Although it had become Dark Lin Lord Bingmu, it still possessed the power of absolute ice. Lin Lord Bingmu nodded and started to communicate with the ice fox. After a while, the ice fox shook her head. Oh, she's not willing? Wang Feng was surprised. No. Lin Lord Bingmu was silent for a few seconds. She said that she has to get the Azure Emperor's permission. More than 90% of the soul beasts in the extreme north are under the Azure Emperor's control, along with the other 7 overlords and the Ice Emperor. Wang Feng thought of a few reasons, but he didn't think that it would be this reason. Could it be that after these 10,000 years, the land of the far north has changed greatly? Wang Feng was a little surprised. A complete order management has already been established? If that's the case, it's a little impressive, not to mention a social structure similar to that of humans. However, it was already very impressive that a complete order could be established. It meant that Qing had really unified the extreme north. Could it be that the ice fox is a soul beast that cultivates the power of absolute ice? I think it must be highly valued. Not all the soul beasts in the extreme north are under their control. Wang Feng continued to ask. Lord Bingmu shook his head. No, it's not like that. More than 90% of the soul beasts belong to this number. The remaining 10% of soul beasts aren't native to the extreme north, so they aren't under our jurisdiction. However, as long as they're born in the extreme north, they're under the jurisdiction of the Azure Emperor and the other overlords. Furthermore, the inner circle has already been divided into several administrative areas and special cultivation areas. Soul beasts of different sizes, bloodlines, and strengths will cultivate in different circles. Soul beasts of the same species will be separated into different regions. Without their orders, they are not allowed to enter the territories of other soul beasts. Lord Isimu was speechless for a long time. Take the Ice Fox for example. She's from the Ice Fox clan and belongs to one of the 7 overlords, the Lightning Spirit Fox Master. The Thunder Spirit Fox is in charge of all small ice and lightning-type soul beasts under 5 meters in size. According to the Ice Fox, the 7 overlords govern different types, attributes, and sizes of soul beasts in the extreme north. The types of soul beasts were many times more complex than humans. Who knew how troublesome it would be to unify them? But after hearing this, Wang Feng was quite shocked. Did the extreme north really form a society of soul beasts? At least, this form was completely presented. It wasn't immature, but it had a rough shape. Wang Feng glanced at the Ice Fox. There were many benefits to the emergence of such a society. It could greatly increase the cultivation speed of soul beasts. With the order form, the intelligence of soul beasts would subtly increase. Dividing the races, assigning rules, and unifying cultivation could also increase the number of soul beasts. So, if the Ice Fox wants to become a soul-bonded beast, she has to obtain permission. Wang Feng thought for a moment, what if she doesn't care? What if she doesn't listen to orders? The Ice Fox howled twice, as if she could understand Wang Feng's words. Her intelligence was around 11 or 12 years old. If she doesn't listen to orders, she won't be able to enjoy many benefits in the extreme north. For example, she won't be able to cultivate in a territory. If she's attacked by other soul beasts, she won't be protected, and there won't be any strong soul beasts to teach her. Her power of ice came from the Lightning Spirit Fox's master. She said that the Lightning Spirit Fox treats the Ice Fox clan very well. When she was bullied when she was young, she was saved by the current leader of the Ice Fox clan, who is also the most powerful general under the Lightning Spirit Fox. Therefore, she won't disobey orders. Qilin Lord Ice Empress translated. Ha ha ha. Wang Feng laughed. Boss, your little brother is impressive. His management skills aren't inferior to mine at all. Long Xie was also a little surprised. He couldn't help but chuckle. Scram, don't flatter yourself. Wang Feng didn't hold back. How has the Great Star Do Forest been for so many years? Don't you know? There hasn't been a true leader in the Great Star Do Forest for so many years. Can Di Tian command all the soul beasts in the Great Star Do Forest? He can't, let alone manage them in detail. The intelligence of soul beasts is different from that of humans. More accurately, their thinking was different. But Qing Qing was different. She had grown up by his side. She gained her intelligence very early on. She wasn't born as a soul beast, so she was naturally different. It was the same for the Ice Empress and the Snow Empress. Logically speaking, they were once the overlords of the extreme north. They were also very intelligent and powerful. However, they didn't manage to unify the extreme north, let alone set the rules. That was because they were pure soul beasts. No matter how intelligent they were, their thinking was different. Qing Qing had grown up by his side for more than 5 years. Her perspective of thinking was completely different from his. Wang Feng estimated that no one could raise a soul beast for so long 10,000 years ago. Furthermore, he was a transmigrator. He had started from scratch. She wasn't like those 100,000-year soul beasts who had lived for many years. Qing Qing's birth could be said to be unique. Whether it was following by his side or possessing part of the Golden Lotus strength, coupled with the assistance of Otaku Crocodile and the other 7 fellows, not only did the true orthodoxy unite with the extreme north in the past 10,000 years, but it also established a true form of order. This allowed the soul beasts in the extreme north to have a society-like structure. The latter was obviously more difficult than the former. Wang Feng didn't expect to get so much information from finding a soul-bound beast for Ma Xiaotao. Cough cough, actually, I think that soul beasts are different from humans. There's unnecessary fighting between soul beasts. Soul beasts can only improve through fighting. Overly peaceful development isn't beneficial to soul beasts. They'll be less ferocious. Long Xie was a little embarrassed as he rebutted, that's why the Great Star Do Forest is the #1 soul beast forest on the continent. Even without unification, many powerful soul beasts have been born. Fighting is the main rhythm of life. Without fighting, one won't be able to improve by relying on cultivation. Long Xie's words made sense. End of chapter. Chapter 1203. How do you know there aren't any fights? Wang Feng sneered. Since you're talking about fights, let me tell you. Fights can be divided into benign and malignant fights. Fights between soul beasts are mostly about life and death. There's no order, and they're classified as malignant fights. Powerful soul beasts will be born in such fights, but many soul beasts will disappear because of them. For example, during the First and Second War of Soul Beasts, they fought for territory on the Star Battle God Mountain. Malignant fights resulted in countless deaths and injuries. Benign fights are different. Not only can they produce powerful soul beasts, but they can also preserve many soul beasts. Most soul beasts' potential can be improved, and they can also improve among soul beasts. Wang Feng looked at the ice fox and asked, have soul beasts ever held any fights before? The ice fox didn't seem to understand, but she seemed to have thought of something. She howled at Lin Lord Bingmu. She said yes. Lin Lord Bingmu had a strange expression. It said that soul beasts under the 7 overlords will hold all sorts of fights every once in a while. Every 50 years, there's a regional level tournament between soul beasts. It's called the Regional Soul Beast Tournament. It includes, but isn't limited to, the most basic fights in terms of cultivation, strength, attributes, size, and so on. This is a regional level tournament between soul beasts under the 7 overlords. Every 100 years, there's a top-level tournament in the extreme north called the Contest of the Extreme North. All the soul beasts under the 7 overlords will participate. According to the years, it's divided into 1,000-year, 10,000-year, and 100,000-year tournaments. No matter what tournament it is, there are all sorts of treasures and rare materials as prizes. Every 100 years, there are many soul beast clans preparing for the final Soul King tournament, and there are many fights. Long Xie. She's really smart. Long Xie thought to himself. The land of the extreme north was truly extraordinary. No wonder they've become stronger over the past 10,000 years. During the Second, Third, and Fourth War of Soul Beasts, the extreme north was the one who resolved it. During the Fifth War of Soul Beasts, the extreme north was also involved. If they didn't become stronger, how could the extreme north stop these soul beasts from fighting? If the Dark Demon Realm didn't interfere, the extreme north would be a true world of soul beasts. Good, good, good. Wang Feng couldn't help but applaud. The extreme north was developing so well, and it would form a good cycle for the development of soul charmers in the future. This was because it could be used to transport soul beasts. However, the soul beasts in the extreme north tended to be of a single type. It would be great if the Great Star Do Forest could be of such a scale. Wang Feng sighed. There were many types of soul beasts in the Great Star Do Forest, and there were many different types of soul beasts. However, it was a pity that it would be very difficult to create a situation like the extreme north, unless Qing Qing entered the Great Star Dough Forest in the future to expand her territory. In a few thousand years, it might be possible for such a situation to happen. Once the soul beasts in the Great Star Dough Forest started to form a complete social chain, the other soul beast forests would be much easier to deal with. The difficult part was that Qing Qing didn't have a trusted aide like Odontosuchus in the Great Star Dough Forest. It was also very troublesome to develop them, unless they had the support of many native soul beasts in the Great Star Dough Forest. However, they could develop very quickly. "Boss, you can leave the Great Star Dough Forest to me," Long Xie said confidently. "Of course, the prerequisite is that you have to help me deal with the Silver Dragon. The Silver Dragon's status in the Great Star Dough Forest is the same as the Qilin Lord of the Ice Empress. She is one of the two main origins of the Dragon God. The birth of soul beasts in the Douluo world is inseparable from the Dragon God. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that she is the ancestor of all soul beasts. Therefore, the Silver Dragon's status in the Great Star Dough Forest is even higher. Logically speaking, her injuries shouldn't have healed so quickly. It's all because of you, boss. It would be very easy for her to unify the Great Star Dough Forest with one command. However, she might not be able to do it as well as your little brother. The Silver Dragon was just a soul beast. It was fundamentally different from Qing Qing. We'll talk about it later. Wait until I reach rank 40. Wang Feng thought for a moment. Once I reach rank 40, no titled Douluo will be a match for me. I'm not sure how much her injuries have healed, but she should be about the same as those Class 3 gods. At the very least, I'll have to reach rank 60 to be confident. This is also the fastest way to increase my strength. If he cultivated the middle part of the 1 Qi into 3 pure ones, he could borrow part of the chaotic Green Lotus's abilities. However, it would take him more than 10 years. Or he could directly comprehend the law of life, break through the divine mountain, and become a god. This would take at least 10 years. It wouldn't be enough. The fastest way was to reach rank 60 and break the 3 God King seals. If Long Xie and the Qilin Lord of the Ice Empress still had 1,000,000 years left, even Class 2 gods wouldn't be a match for them. The Silver Dragon was neither an enemy nor a friend. It was hard to say. If Qing Qing went to the Great Star Dough Forest and wanted to unify the forest, the Silver Dragon would most likely be an enemy. "Qilin, let her follow you. We're going to the inner circle anyway," Wang Feng said. The inner circle was where most of the soul beasts in the extreme north lived. The outer circle was more like a place of entertainment for soul beasts. The Qilin Lord of the Ice Empress nodded slightly. At this moment, Zheng Yang and the others walked over. Wang Feng roughly explained the situation to them. Simply put, although these evil soul beasts had recovered, they still needed the agreement of the few overlords to become their soul-bonded beasts. After hearing this, they were all stunned. I heard from the department head and a few heavenly kings that the extreme north has formed a complete social structure. I didn't expect it to be so. Jing Yang sighed. Heavenly King Nine Phoenix was given this honor by the Shi Douluo when he came to the extreme north. It's incredible. It's amazing. Soul beasts have always been chaotic and disorderly. There are very few people who truly understand soul beasts. The extreme north also has a clear rule that we soul masters can't kill soul beasts as we wish. Otherwise, they'll attack us too. Furthermore, the other soul beast forests haven't changed in the past 10,000 years. Hua Linghai pondered. Only the extreme north has been growing stronger. We soul masters who study soul beasts have speculated that the extreme north has formed a social structure similar to ours. I didn't expect it to be true. Then we have to make a trip to the inner circle? Jiang Yun glanced at the ice fox beside Wang Feng. Cute. If she could have a soul beast like this as her companion, Jiang Yun felt that it would be great. End of chapter. Chapter 1204. The inner circle is very dangerous. Wang Feng shook his head. These soul beasts will stay here temporarily to recover. You guys can stay here. I'll tell you guys about the 3 Douluo heavenly kings and the inner circle when the time comes. Wang Feng glanced at the ice qilin and said casually, with it around, the extreme north isn't dangerous for me. Of course, this sentence was meant for the few of them. In fact, it was indeed so. The ice qilin lord's strength was very rare in the extreme north. All right. Zheng Yang stroked his beard and nodded. Your soul-bonding beast is really extraordinary. With it around, you'll be fine if you're alone. If we go, we'll be a burden. Since that's the case, we'll wait for you again. Wang Feng nodded slightly. I'm ashamed to say this. Zheng Yang shook his head. You were sent here by Yuan Hong. Logically speaking, we should protect you and find soul-bonding beasts for us. But I didn't expect you to be so proud of your protection. I'm really ashamed. It's too serious. Wang Feng waved his hand. You guys have given me a lot of information. If not for you guys, I wouldn't have come to this place so easily. This place is very important to me and to it. I wouldn't have so much information. Wang Feng glanced at the group. Then you guys have a good rest and take a look at these soul beasts. They've completely recovered and won't attack humans casually. 3 days later, I'll leave first. The ice qilin lord needed some time to absorb the dark demonic energy in these soul beasts. 3 days was already the shortest time. Using these 3 days, Wang Feng also told them about soul contracting masters. He didn't ask Hua Linghai and He Hai to choose suitable soul-bonding beasts. It wasn't impossible to find one at Zheng Yang's level. But because he was a titled Douluo, to him, unless it was 100,000 years, it didn't mean much, and he couldn't absorb soul rings. There were indeed many people left in the Aisya sect, but the strong ones were all destroyed by the demon abyss. The remaining people weren't much of a threat to the demon abyss. But with these soul masters and the special geographical location of the Aisya sect, it wouldn't be a problem for them to develop. The only pitiful one was Emohan. His soul was slowly being corroded by the demon abyss. Fortunately, the demon abyss was destroyed by Wang Feng. This was the only thing they could do. 3 days later, Wang Feng summoned Long Xie's gigantic body and jumped on its back, flying away. It's so cold. Long Xie shuddered. You have such thick skin, yet you can still feel the cold? Long Xie bared his fangs. Don't insult me, boss. My dragon scales are thick, but my skin isn't thick. Beside him, Lin Lord Isimu was leading the way. He saw many buildings of different shapes and sizes, but most of them were very dilapidated, perhaps because of the evil soul beasts. It was obviously because of the dark devil Qi. Wang Feng muttered, Ice qilin, these evil soul beasts. Even though they were in midair, there were still many evil soul beasts attacking them. I'll try to wake them up. The dark demonic energy is useful to me. I'll be fine as long as I don't absorb too much at once. Lin Lord Ice qilin sighed as he looked at the evil soul beasts. Lin Lord Ice qilin couldn't wake some of them up after being corroded by the dark demonic energy for a long time. He could only relieve them of their pain as soon as possible. Because of these evil soul beasts, Wang Feng didn't advance very quickly. He was very slow, but there was nothing he could do. Half a day later, Wang Feng also encountered humans other than the evil soul beasts. Judging from their attire and strength, they should be the investigation team that followed the 3 Douluo heavenly kings. But it was a pity they were dead. A soul sage over rank 70. Wang Feng frowned as he looked at the corpse. The investigation team led by the 3 Douluo heavenly kings was very strong. This rank 70 soul beast was similar to Hua Linghai and Lin Gang. It died because it absorbed too much dark demonic energy and lost its mind. When Wang Feng saw the corpse, its skin was still dark. It had been abandoned on the icy ground. Apparently, it was abandoned in the chaos. His companions didn't have time to bury it. These humans are probably very miserable. Long Xie looked regretful. Their fighting strength will decrease in a place like this. These evil soul beasts are so strong. Even if they get some information, they might not be able to get out, Wang Feng nodded. The 3 Douluo heavenly kings were here to gather information, not to fight. They would definitely choose to avoid these evil soul beasts or the soul demons from the dark demon realm. But can you avoid them just because you want to? Of course not. There are a few difficulties in going to the extreme ice layer. There are also a few problems that we have to solve. Wang Feng buried the human soul sage's corpse and said, I didn't tell Xingyang and the others. The extreme north has the possibility of giving birth to a 10-ringed soul demon. There are at least 10 other 9-ringed soul demons. There is also a soul demon in the extreme ice layer. If we want to enter the extreme ice layer, we might run into other 9-ringed soul demons. If there are more than 3, it will be difficult to deal with. If there are 5, I will have to retreat temporarily. There is also that 10-ringed soul demon. If a being of that level appears, not only the extreme north, but even the human race will suffer a great disaster. Memories of the Demon Abyss. 10-ringed soul demons were the standard fighting unit of the dark demon realm. 9-ringed soul demons were considered cannon fodder in the dark demon realm's military. 10-ringed soul demons were the real military force. For the Douluo world, they were undefeatable. According to Wang Feng's estimation, even the current strongest person on the continent, the Shi Douluo, might not be able to defeat a 10-ringed soul demon. Even if Qing Qing and the others had reached the million-year level, they wouldn't be a match for a 10-ringed soul demon. Apart from that, 9-ringed soul demons were also divided into different levels. After burying his friend, Wang Feng continued forward with the 2 evil dragons and Lin Lord Isim. They didn't cause too much of a disturbance. However, there were fewer and fewer evil soul beasts. After walking for an unknown period of time, Lin Lord Isimu suddenly said, Boss, there's another one. Boss, I sensed another human not too far ahead. It seems like he's still alive. Wang Feng was stunned. He waved his hand and hurriedly said, Let's go. Let's go take a look. Chapter 1205. Snow covered the area in front of them. A lady was lying on the ground. She was covered in layers of snow. If not for her exposed arm, it would have been hard to spot her. She's a girl. Wang Feng narrowed his eyes and glanced at Qilin Lord Bingmu. Qilin Lord Bingmu nodded slightly and waved his hand. The snow around them dissipated and revealed the lady's figure. Along the way, they had seen a few human corpses. Qilin Lord Bingmu said that it was rare for someone to be alive. After the snow dissipated, Wang Feng glanced at the lady. Her face was snow-white, and her facial features weren't exquisite. They were gentle and beautiful. Her skin was very white, and she looked like she was in her 20s. She wore a light green dress, and her figure was graceful. However, she wasn't very seductive either. As she was unconscious, there weren't any soul power undulations coming from her body. However, there was a hole in her lower abdomen near her rib. It seemed like she had been hit by something. However, it was sealed by ice, and the injury didn't spread. She also exuded a strong dark demonic aura. It should be an attack from a 9-ringed soul demon. However, it doesn't seem like it, Wang Feng pondered for a moment. Qilin absorbed the dark demonic aura in her body. Long Xie, find some jaded essence fruits and some ice crystal grass. Her injuries were a little serious. However, she was probably very strong. That was why she was able to last until now. However, Wang Feng was a little wary of her dark demonic aura. This dark demonic aura was very strong. It was much stronger than the dark demonic aura Wang Feng had encountered before. Evidently, it wasn't an attack from an ordinary evil soul beast. The 3 Douluo heavenly kings came to the extreme north. They are Water Luster, Bagu, and Zhu Ling water luster is a lady. She focuses on healing and recovery. Ba Gu and Zhu Ling represent offense and defense. Could this lady be the water luster heavenly king? Wang Feng continued to scan her. He was slightly shocked. She didn't have any soul power undulations, but she could still block his spiritual power. This meant that she had a soul bone. It was a soul bone soul skill. It blocked his spiritual power. After hearing Wang Feng's request, Long Xie and Qilin Lord Bing Mu acted immediately. Wang Feng wasn't as strong as before. He didn't have strong healing and recovery abilities. Those abilities were with the chaotic green lotus. There was no better way to save her. But it wouldn't be good if he left just like that. If the other party was really one of the 12 Douluo heavenly kings, he could be considered one of the strongest leaders of the Federation. The birth of the Federation was related to him, Bibidon, and many other people. One of the Origin Tribulation Divine King's 7 origins, the Redemption Origin, should have a powerful healing ability. Unfortunately, I'm not at level 40 yet. Once I reach level 40, the second origin power can be awakened. Adjudication, Redemption, Imperishable, Elemental, Devour, Nihility, Tribulation Origin. It represented the power of the 7 purple origins, which also represented the Origin Tribulation Origin God King's origins. Once all of them were awakened, one would become the Origin Tribulation God King. Wang Feng wasn't sure, but judging from his soul power level, it should only be awakened once at rank 20. The dark devil chi on this woman was extremely dense. It took Lin Lord Bing Mu more than an hour to absorb it all. At the same time, Long Xie also found the jade essence fruit and extreme icicle grass. These two were special products of the extreme north. The jade essence fruit was the fruit of the jade essence tree, which contained powerful ice-type elemental energy. The extreme icicle grass was a type of vegetation in the extreme north. When the two were mixed together, it could be used to treat injuries. It was a treatment method that many soul beasts in the extreme north knew. After Lin Lord Bing Mu finished absorbing, it created an ice barrier that isolated the aura of this place. Wang Feng immediately crushed the jade essence fruit and extreme icicle grass into powder and smeared it on the woman's stomach. When the two were mixed together, a cold fragrance slowly drifted out from Wang Feng's hand. It carried a strong medicinal power. Oh yes, there are also healing herbs in the soul tool. Wang Feng thought for a moment and took out a few special pills. These pills were given to him by Mu En and the others before he left. Wang Feng didn't take it to heart, because he didn't think that he would be injured. He fed these pills to the woman, and with the influence of the powder, it was quite effective. Her life force is recovering. Wang Feng muttered, she will need 1 or 2 days to wake up. Long Xie, carry her on your back. Wang Feng carried the woman on Long Xie's back and continued forward. After all, she was the only living human that they had met along the way. However, Wang Feng felt that she had many soul bones. There were at least 5 of them. With so many soul bones, she was most likely a Douluo heavenly king. Of course, he couldn't rule out other possibilities. The surrounding temperature was very low. Soon, the number of evil soul beasts increased. The dark demonic chi also became denser. Boss, if we continue forward, something seems to be happening. At this moment, Long Xie suddenly stopped. Lin Lord Bing Mu also stopped in the distance. A large patch of dark clouds suddenly appeared in the originally snowy region. It looked very eerie and terrifying. There seemed to be a strong undulation of life force coming from that location. The extreme ice layer. Seeing this, Wang Fengxin's heart sank. He stopped. A 10-ringed god-rank soul demon? Wang Feng's expression was very serious. A dark pillar of light shot into the sky from afar. The powerful energy that this pillar of light gave off definitely didn't belong to a normal life force. It was a god-ranked powerhouse, but it seemed to be in the process of being born. The pillar of light didn't seem to be focused. And it wasn't far from the clouds. The place surrounded by the dark clouds should be the extreme ice layer. Boss, what should we do? With our current strength, we're no match for it. Long Xie thought for a moment. Lin Lord Bingmu pondered for a few seconds and said, "If I had 100,000 years, I might be able to hold it back." Evil soul beasts were different from real soul demons. Soul demons weren't soul masters. As pure life forms in the dark demonic realm, they cultivated by condensing demonic rings. They were very strong. One could imagine that they were a combination of soul beast and soul master. Naturally, they were stronger than both. I'll cultivate here. I'm about to break through rank 30. Although I haven't reached rank 40 yet, absorbing Lin Lord Bingmu's soul rings will help me improve. Wang Feng thought for a moment and glanced at the woman again. Unless Wang Feng could use his true body, he had no chance of defeating a 10-ringed god-rank soul demon. Even 5 or more 9-ringed soul demons couldn't defeat it. The extreme ice layer has Qingqing and the others. They should be able to hold on for a while. If the extreme north is really dangerous, the worst choice they can make is to leave. Since they chose to hold on, they might have other motives. Also, I don't know where the 2 Douluo heavenly kings are. Wang Feng took a deep breath. After reaching rank 30 and absorbing Lin Lord Bingmu's soul rings, not to mention his soul skills, his origin power would be much stronger. End of chapter. Chapter 1206. The power of the judgment lightning punishment would be greatly increased, and he would be more confident in dealing with these soul demons. Qilin Lord Bingmu could absorb the dark demonic energy along the way, and so could Wang Feng. When Wang Feng first woke up, he could use the 7 purple origin patterns to absorb the dark demonic energy from the evil soul beast. He let Qilin Lord Bingmu absorb the dark demonic energy in hopes that his cultivation would grow faster. Before entering the extreme north, Wang Feng's soul power was only at rank 26. Now, he was at rank 29. His cultivation speed had always been very fast. Furthermore, after the dark demonic energy was absorbed by the 7 purple origins, his soul power had increased tremendously. At this moment, the woman moaned softly. In the next moment, the woman suddenly opened her eyes. Her pair of cold and clear eyes flashed with a bright light. At the same time, a yin and yang symbol appeared in her eyes. It looked very strange. She suddenly opened her eyes and scanned her surroundings. She was stunned. That was because she realized that she was on the back of a soul beast. "Boss, she seems to have woken up early," Long Xie exclaimed. "Her recovery speed is amazing." Wang Feng naturally noticed it too. He looked at the woman in surprise. Is she really the Watersheen Heavenly King who focused on recovery? Her recovery speed was so exaggerated. Wang Feng originally thought that she would need at least 2 days to slowly wake up. He didn't expect her to recover in just half a day. "Did you save me?" The woman was also surprised. "Who are you?" She seemed to realize something. "Are you a soul charmer?" Wang Feng was stunned. "You know about soul charmers? Are you the Watersheen Heavenly King, one of the 3 heavenly kings who entered the extreme north? Or are you part of the investigation team that followed them?" Hearing this, the woman opened her eyes slightly. "I'm not the Watersheen Heavenly King. I'm part of the investigation team. I'm here to investigate the situation. I'm Shiyu. Are you from the Shrek Academy? What's your name? Why are you here?" Although the woman had just woken up, she quickly understood the situation. She glanced at herself and looked at her abdomen. Her injuries had been stopped, and her eyes flashed with surprise. At the same time, she felt that the dark demonic energy in her body had disappeared. She was slightly stunned. Wang Fengxian's heart skipped a beat. "My name is Wang Hao. He is indeed a soul contract master. He is my soul contract beast." Shiyu nodded slightly and looked into the distance. Her expression changed slightly. "You're a healing-type soul master? Or are these 2 soul beasts of yours, this soul beast?" Shiyu looked around, and when she saw Long Xie, she paused for a moment. But when his eyes landed on Lin Lord Bingmu, his pupils dilated. Could this be the ancestral soul beast of the extreme north? Lin Lord Bingmu? Why is the color so weird? After the woman woke up, she had been relatively calm. Occasionally, she would be surprised, but she was still able to maintain her composure. It was only at this moment when he saw Lin Lord Bingmu that he was shocked. Wang Feng also looked at the woman in surprise. Among the humans, there was someone who knew about Lin Lord Isimu? Even in the extreme north, there were very few soul beasts that knew about it. This was inconceivable. Only a few 100,000-year soul beasts in the extreme north knew of an ancient creature like the Ice Empress. After it became his soul ring, it became his soul ring. There were even fewer soul beasts that knew about it. Perhaps only the Ice Emperor and a few others knew about it. Lin Lord Bingmu looked at the woman indifferently. No. This black steel mechanical ice wings, the V-shaped crown on its head, and its upright body, special ice patterns, and the ultimate ice attribute power. Shiyu stared at it. It's just that the color has changed. Could it be that it has undergone mutation? It seemed to her that Lin Lord Bingmu was more interesting than Long Xie and Wang Feng combined. Why is it here? Shiyu looked at Wang Feng. Is this your soul contract beast? You know about Lin Lord Bingmu? Wang Feng was surprised. Shiyu was slightly taken aback. I've heard about it. I didn't expect such a legendary soul beast to appear here. But why is there a special wave of darkness on his body? It's similar to the aura of those soul demons. Could it be that he was also born from the eggs of those evil soul beasts? Wang Feng. This woman is too smart, isn't she? She only took a few glances and she guessed it? Not simple. Damn, boss, this woman is something. She actually guessed the origin of old Bingmu. Her intelligence is only second to you, boss. Long Xie exclaimed in his heart. Shiyu didn't ask more after seeing Wang Feng's silence. She suddenly wiped her lower abdomen with her hand and sniffed the residue of medicine. It's the jade essence fruit and extreme icicle grass. You also know about this special emergency treatment method? This knowledge should only be spread among the soul beasts in the extreme north. Is your Lin Lord Bingmu the descendant of the extreme north's ancestor, Lin Lord Bingmu? You even inherited the ancestor's memory? Wang Feng was shocked again. This woman only said a few words and glanced at it a few times? Although this part of the guess was wrong, in fact, it was not far from the mark. I still have the soul recovery pill and myriad flower pill in my body. These two pills can only be made by a plant-type soul master above rank 70. Currently, only Shrek Academy, East Feng Academy, and the Federation headquarters have these pills in reserve. They are military-grade pills, and are usually not sold to the public. They are only sold to special people. Shiyu looked at Wang Feng and pondered for a few seconds. Suddenly she said, You are not Wang Hao. Although I have never seen your two soul-bonded beasts, you should be teacher Wang Feng from Shrek Academy, the founder of the soul-bonded beasts? Otherwise, Shrek's elders wouldn't give you these pills. Wang Feng. Avatar activation failed. Wang Feng was shocked. He didn't expect to be recognized in the blink of an eye. How awesome! Wang Feng looked at the woman from head to toe. She was quite calm. Wang Feng calculated the time. It had only been a few minutes. This woman seemed to have seen through everything? This thought, this calmness, this deduction. Wang Feng felt that it was quite amazing. Vaguely, Wang Feng could feel a powerful aura emanating from the other party. What are you doing here? Shiyu asked. Then why are you here? Wang Feng asked. To investigate the outbreak of the evil soul beast. Me too. Shiyu looked at Wang Feng. Although you didn't answer, the dark demonic energy in my body should have been absorbed by your Lin Lord Bingmu, right? A Lin Lord Bingmu born from an evil soul beast's egg. That's incredible. Although she deduced this point, She obviously couldn't guess how it was done. You can say that. Wang Feng nodded. Actually, he absorbed a part of it, but most of it was absorbed by Lin Lord Bingmu. Chapter 1207. The situation in the extreme north is very complicated. Shi Yu's tone fluctuated slightly as she stared ahead. There are a total of 13 extremely powerful evil soul beasts. No, those aren't evil soul beasts. They're creatures called soul demons. They come from another powerful world. The most powerful one among them has the potential to destroy the world. But, fortunately, he hasn't been fully born yet. As far as I know, for a powerhouse of this level to be born, he must absorb a large amount of the world's origin energy. The extreme ice layer is inhabited by 100,000-year soul beasts, which contain rich world's origin energy. These soul demons are very strong and difficult to destroy. Even 3 titled Douluo may not be able to kill one of them. The difficulty level is extremely high. The powerful soul beasts in the extreme ice layer can't deal with these soul demons. 8 of them surround the extreme ice layer and set up a special soul skill array to devour and transform the world's origin energy inside to breed the most powerful soul demon. Shi Yu seemed to be introducing the situation to Wang Feng. Originally, those soul beasts in the extreme ice layer could temporarily escape. But the trouble is that there is also a powerful ice-type soul beast in the extreme ice layer. But she hasn't awakened, and there's no way to wake her up. Once these soul beasts leave, this ice-type soul beast will be very dangerous, so... Shi Yu sighed softly. After our 3 Douluo heavenly kings came here, they were entangled by the other 3 soul demons. One of them was injured, but he also entered the extreme ice layer to recuperate. The people of the investigation team were all separated. Some are dead and some may still be alive. Wang Feng nodded slightly. It was similar to what he understood. I'm telling you this because I want you to leave here and report this information. Shi Yu continued, with this Lin Lord Ice Empress, you can temporarily reach here, but it's very difficult to move forward. It's also very dangerous. That won't do. Wang Feng shook his head. What's the point of reporting it now? With this level of life fluctuations, the 10-ring God-rank soul demon will wake up in a few days at most. It'll be even more troublesome then. 10-ring God-rank soul demon. You know about this? Shi Yu was slightly startled. Have you also been affected by the soul connection? Then you can't go forward. Those soul demons know about you. Not necessarily. Wang Feng smiled. He was using the Angel of Light and Dark Martial Soul to connect with the soul demons. The other party would only know about the Light and Dark Angel Martial Soul. Shi Yu shook her head. Your soul power isn't even at rank 30. With these 2 10,000-year soul-bonded beasts, you have an advantage, but it's impossible for you to go too deep. You have no reason to. Returning from here was the best choice. Could it be that you have a reason to go to the Arctic layer? Shi Yu looked at Wang Feng. You know the soul beasts of the extreme north. Shi Yu suddenly looked at Wang Feng with some surprise. Perhaps he had thought of some inconceivable possibilities. Naturally, Wang Feng said calmly. I have my reasons for going to the Arctic layer. If that's the case. Shi Yu pondered for a moment. I need to recover for a few days. When the time comes, I'll see if I can send you in. Consider it as repaying the favor of saving my life. Miss, you're not simple. Wang Feng looked at the woman meaningfully. This woman's performance after waking up could be said to be unique among all the women Wang Feng had seen. Shi Yu didn't say anything and just nodded gently. About 50 kilometers to the north, there's a treasure land called the Four Extremes Valley. It's the closest treasure land to the Arctic layer. It's also one of the best cultivation holy lands in the extreme north. Now it's usually used as a reward for the soul beasts of the extreme north. It's slightly inferior to the Arctic layer, but it's also the birthplace of several overlords. There are about 2 soul demons guarding it. We can go there first and try to deal with or lure away the 2 soul demons. We can use this treasure land to recover. Shiyu looked in another direction. 50 kilometers was considered very close. For Extremes Valley, Wang Fengxin was a little emotional. He didn't expect that this place still existed after 10,000 years. It was just that it was no longer a place for Odontosuchus and the others to cultivate. It was a reward for other soul beasts. The reward for the soul beast tournament mentioned by the Ice Fox was probably still here. Let's go take a look. I can use this chance to break through to rank 30. Wang Feng nodded slightly. More haste, less speed. The situation in the extreme north was complicated. If he went in recklessly, not only would he be in danger, but Qing and the others in the Arctic layer might also be in danger. And Wang Feng had a rough idea. Rank 30. Shiyu thought for a while. With your strength and 2 soul-bonded beasts, you can at least surpass rank 40. You can even fight with a titled Douluo. Even this 10,000-year Ice Dragon King may not be able to deal with a titled Dalu. Although a soul renderer is a mystical profession, you are a special case among special cases. This woman understood very well. Thorough. And she had a very good grasp of the information. Damn, you don't put me in your eyes? Long Xie said angrily in the soul domain. And your special crag dragon, its bloodline has mutated and it has the aura of a true dragon. Once it reaches 100,000 years there will be a huge change. Is this what a soul charmer is? Shiyu commented. Obviously, she had a thorough understanding of Long Xie's body. A soul charmer is a dual occupation. Without special circumstances, a powerful soul beast would not be interested in a weak person. Shiyu looked at Wang Feng. Although your soul power is only rank 30, I'm sure these 2 soul beasts value you in some aspects. Otherwise, they wouldn't have chosen to be your partner. For a soul beast like the Ice Dragon King, even if it's the descendant of that ancestor, it wouldn't accept a human so easily. Ha ha. I'm flattered. Wang Feng smiled humbly. You don't seem to think that I'm flattered. Instead, you're very calm. Shiyu said. Lady, you're not simple either. Wang Feng smiled. Her spiritual power should be stronger than his. I'm just a titled Dalu. I'm not considered strong. Shiyu shook her head. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been injured. She was just a titled Dalu. Even in the current world, there were only a few hundred titled Douluo. Ha ha. Boss, this human woman looks very powerful. Long Xie was happy. Wang Feng smiled. This woman was interesting. With Long Xie's speed, they soon arrived near the 4th extremity, the Myriad Elephant Valley. 3 soul demons. I'm temporarily injured. Shiyu muttered, but it's not a problem to lure them away. It's just a little dangerous. Wait for me to lure them away. You go in first. The 4th extremity has been remodeled over the years. There's a special ice array inside that requires a strong ice power to activate and protect. Let the Ice Dragon King activate it later. I'll take the opportunity to come in. The 3 soul demons will be blocked outside for the time being. Today is the most I can do. I'll deal with these 3 soul demons after I recover. Shiyu's tone was very arrogant. However, Wang Feng smiled and said, I have a better idea. Lin Feng said, P.S. Give me a few days to recover. Chapter 1208. Wang Feng did have some ideas. Especially after learning about the situation in the extreme north, he had been thinking about it. What is it? Shiyu asked curiously. It's impossible for Qilin Lord Bingmu to deal with 3 soul demons alone. These soul demons also cultivate a special kind of soul ring and have rank. The soul demons bred from the eggs are all 9-ringed soul demons and are very difficult to deal with. Shiyu's tone was not that she did not believe him, but that she was curious. Her method could only be done by relying on her own strength. But Shiyu's tone was very certain and full of confidence. Obviously, she had a strong heart. Wang Feng smiled. As far as I know, these soul demons came from the dark demon realm and invaded the Douluo continent. They are very special. The dark demon Qi is also very easy to identify, but I can pretend to be one of their soul demons and lure them away, or even severely injure them. Xiyu looked at Wang Feng several times when she heard this plan. What a fantasy! This. Xiyu frowned slightly. It's too dangerous. First of all, these soul demons are very powerful and intelligent. Their auras are very unique. Even if you can imitate their auras, it's basically impossible to hide from them. As long as you make a move, you will be exposed. Moreover, these soul demons are not humans. They are extremely powerful and have a special way of connecting with each other. They have a clear understanding of their own race. In other words, they are very clear about how many of them there are. It's too suspicious to have one more soul demon. Also, they must have a special way of identifying their own race, and we may not know about this method. In summary, your method is too risky and very dangerous for you. I don't agree with you. Shiyu's thoughts and emotions were very clear. She was able to calculate many things clearly. What she said was not wrong. Wang Feng smiled. You're right. In that case, let's try your method first. But it's also very dangerous for you. Actually, I'm not dangerous. Shiyu shook her head. On the contrary, the Myriad Elephant Valley is the most dangerous place for you. There may be special traps left behind by those soul demons. Once triggered, it's hard to know what kind of attack you'll face. There are 4 different kinds of danger zones in the valley. The overlords of the extreme north have left different protective measures in each of the 4 places. It's not easy to activate the protection of the Nature Manifestation Valley. Shiyu was very experienced. It was obvious that this was not her first time in the extreme north, nor was it her first time in the 4 extremes of Nature Manifestation Valley. It was possible that he had come here many times. He was even more familiar with this place than Wang Feng. Over the past 10,000 years, Wang Feng was indeed not as familiar with this place as the other party. Places like the absolute ice forbidden land had changed greatly. Since that's the case, when should we make our move? Wang Feng asked. 3 hours later, let me rest for a while. I took the lead and lured the 3 soul demons out of the Myriad Elephant Valley. Hide well. Shiyu pondered for a moment. Right, I forgot one thing. There should be many powerful evil soul beasts in the Myriad Elephant Valley. Remember to be careful. Wang Feng nodded slightly. After that, Shiyu sat cross-legged on Long Xie's back and began to rest. Strangely, when Shiyu recovered, there was no soul power fluctuation. It was very peaceful, and even her aura seemed to have disappeared. It was as if she did not exist in this world. It was very strange. Wang Feng couldn't help but wonder what his martial soul was. Since it was not the Water Luster Heavenly King, but her recovery ability was so strong, it must be because of her body. It might be some kind of special constitution. 3 hours later, Shiyu opened her eyes and breathed in and out. Her expression was much better. How's your recovery? Wang Feng asked. 20 to 30%. It's not a problem to lure them out. Shiyu replied. Right, I'll use half an hour to lure them out and 3 hours to lure them away. You'll have to hold on during this time. Remember, you must activate the protection of the 4 extremes of Nature Manifestation Valley within 4 hours. I'll be back during this time. The time was very tight. Wang Feng would know why they had to do it within 4 hours. They were now close to the 4 extremes of Nature Manifestation Valley. The 4 extremes of Nature Manifestation Valley was in a basin. The average sea level was 100 meters below. Standing in the valley and looking around, the surroundings were like flattened icebergs. After Shiyu finished speaking, her figure flashed and disappeared. She turned into a streak of white light and flew into the Myriad Elephant Valley. She did not delay at all. Boss, is there a problem? Long Xie asked. Normally, there shouldn't be a problem. Just like you said, Shiyu is not simple. Wang Feng said. She was not simple. From the moment she woke up, she did not behave like a normal titled Douluo. In particular, she had a very wide range of knowledge. It was important to know that all her speculations were based on her own knowledge. Knowledge was often directly related to a person's experience and knowledge. Wang Feng was sure that there were not many people in the world who knew about Lin Lord Bingmu other than Qing Qing. Shiyu's confidence was not something a titled Douluo could have. Why? Because Wang Feng had this kind of confidence. He was confident in his own strength. To a certain extent, Wang Feng saw a shadow of himself in Shiyu. Wang Feng could roughly guess the other party's true identity. Let's wait. There should be a situation in half an hour. Wang Feng looked at the sky. Half an hour was very short. Wang Feng could vaguely sense 3 powerful auras in the 4 extremes of Nature Manifestation Valley. 3 9-ringed soul demons. They were not inferior to the demon abyss. With his current strength, he did not have much of a chance of winning against 3 9-ringed soul demons. About 40 minutes later, 3 earth-shattering roars came from the valley, followed by several intense black light cannons that blasted into the sky, shaking the sky and causing the cold thunder to roll in the sky. A figure flew out of the valley. She was flying in the opposite direction of Wang Feng. It was Shiyu. Behind her were 3 soul demons, and they were very close to her. Let's go in. Wang Feng looked in that direction and did not hesitate. He walked into the 4 extremes of Nature Manifestation Valley with Long Xie. After more than 10,000 years, Wang Feng was deeply moved. In his memory, he was defeated by the Pontiff's Palace and came to the extreme north. It was in the 4 extremes of Nature Manifestation Valley that he absorbed the first 100,000-year soul bone. At the same time, he obtained the soul ring of the 90,000-year ice dragon whale. He also found Qing Qing, Odontosuchus, Shun Bing, Cowardly Kuan, and Iron Fox. End of chapter. Chapter 1209. Through the red lotus karmic fire, he managed to refine the dustless glass body. It could be said that there were too many changes, especially in this place. Dense heaven and earth origin chi was formed after the 4 dangerous lands mixed together. It could be said that this was the true gathering of heaven and earth spirit chi. However, most of the heaven and earth treasures here were kept by Qing Qing and the others as rewards for cultivation. However, this dangerous land was still a holy land for soul beasts to cultivate. Absolute Frost Ice Cave, Absolute Serene Spirit Cave, Absolute Lightning Purple Forest, and Absolute Wind Green Platform. They represented 4 different types of geographical environments. The only difference was that the Absolute Serene Spirit Cave had the densest dark demonic energy. At the same time, there were many evil soul beasts here. With Wang Feng and Qilin Lord Bingmu's strength, these evil soul beasts weren't much of a threat. Most of them were awakened by Qilin Lord Bingmu. A small number of them had lost their consciousness after being corroded by the dark demonic energy for too long. They couldn't recover, so they had to end their lives and bury them here. After being infected by the dark demonic energy for a long time, soul beasts would lose their consciousness and be controlled by the soul demons. There was basically no chance of recovery. When Qilin Lord Bingmu was in the absolute ice forbidden land, he had no choice but to kill some of these soul beasts. If they didn't kill them, the evil soul beasts would use their killing instincts to attack them when they entered the myriad Elephant Valley. Wait, Qilin Lord Bingmu, let me see if I can wake them up. After Qilin Lord Bingmu subdued a group of evil soul beasts, Wang Feng suddenly said, "Boss, you don't have the power of absolute ice. You shouldn't be able to wake them up, right?" Qilin Lord Bingmu was stunned. "No, I'm not trying to wake them up," Wang Feng said slowly. "I'm trying to wake up those soul beasts that have been infected by the dark demonic energy for a long time." "That's even more impossible, right?" Qilin Lord Bingmu was a little shocked. Even I can't wake them up, how are you going to do it? I didn't think of this method at first, but after learning about the memories of the Devil Abyss, I had a new idea about these soul demons. I didn't think of it when I was in the absolute ice forbidden land, until Shiyu said that she wanted to come here to cultivate. That idea of mine is gradually becoming clearer. Perhaps we can use it to see if it can awaken these soul beasts. Qilin Lord Bingmu was a little. Do you know why I can absorb the dark demonic energy? Soul Qilin Lord Bingmu, I'm curious about that. Lin Lord Ice Empress nodded. It's probably because of your spirit boss, said Longxie. I haven't seen old ice yet. After I recultivated, I absorbed quite a bit of the dark devil chi that boss had absorbed into me. His cultivation base rose rapidly. Those evil soul beasts will leave behind dark demonic energy after they die. As long as I can absorb the dark demonic energy, that energy can greatly increase my cultivation. Martial spirit. Lin Lord Isimu looked at Wang Feng. Wang Feng stared at the frozen Lin Lords in front of him and immediately used the light and dark angel possession. The moment the mysterious angel of light and dark martial soul possessed him, Wang Feng's aura changed drastically. It suddenly rose to a height of over 2 meters. It was majestic beyond compare, and 14 pairs of light wings could be seen on its back. One side was extreme darkness and the other side was extreme light. Black and gold intertwined, making Wang Feng look like a combination of a demon and an angel. Holy on one side, evil on the other. After the two merged, the 7 purple origins on Wang Feng's body shone brightly. The first purple origin, which was already under Wang Feng's control, shone even brighter and exuded an extremely strong aura of judgment. Wang Feng clenched his fist and circulated his soul power. The 7 purple origins on his body suddenly disappeared. Suddenly, an extreme dark aura appeared on Wang Feng's body. It was so condensed that it looked like a demonic flame. It looked extremely terrifying. This is Lin Lord Ice Empress sensed the aura on Wang Feng's body. Wang Feng rarely used the Angel of Light and Dark Martial Soul 10,000 years ago, especially after the mutation. He couldn't use it easily. Lin Lord Ice Empress didn't know. In his impression, the powerful chaotic green lotus martial soul was Wang Feng's true strength. There was also the special axe martial soul. He had seen the Angel of Light and Dark martial soul once or twice, but he wasn't affected. But now, this aura is similar to the Dark Devil Chi? Lin Lord Ice Empress was astonished. Come! Wang Feng made a grabbing motion in the air, and the surrounding Dark Devil Chi rushed into Wang Feng's body. The black wings on his back shone brightly. At the same time, the 7 purple origin runes shone again. Wang Feng absorbed the Dark Devil Chi with the 7 purple origin runes. He didn't use the Angel of Light and Dark Martial Soul because he didn't think it was necessary. He only used the Angel of Light and Dark Martial Soul to connect with Mo Yin and Mo Yuan. This was especially true for Mo Yuan. His expression and demeanor made Wang Feng certain that the Dark Angel Martial Soul from before, the Dark Angel God who had once judged the Divine Realm, was definitely from the Dark Demon Realm. Since that was the case, the Angel of Light and Dark Martial Soul might have a special effect on these evil soul beasts. The Dark Devil Chi entered Wang Feng's body, but he didn't absorb it immediately. Instead, he spread it all over his body. Now, do I look like a soul demon? Wang Feng asked. Yes, but you don't look like one. Longxie exclaimed. Those soul demons can't even compare to 1,000th of your looks. 1,000th? Wang Feng frowned and said, They can compare to 1,000th of my looks? They must be loved by the demons in the dark devil world. I think it's 1,000th at most. Longxie was speechless. Longxie thought that he had flattered Tang Wulin enough. He didn't expect Tang Wulin to be unsatisfied. You do look like one. You look like a real person and your aura is stronger. Lin Lord Bingmu nodded. Boss, your idea was to use your martial soul possession to disguise yourself as a soul demon and let the 3 soul demons leave, right? But it's easy to be discovered. Not really. Wang Feng smiled mysteriously. Lin Lord Bingmu didn't know the origin of the Angel of Light and Dark. He also didn't know about the Dark Angel God. After all, it was a matter of the God world. Long Xie knew a little, but he wasn't very clear. He didn't know the status of the Dark Angel God in the Dark Devil world. But Wang Feng guessed one thing. But at this moment, Wang Feng looked at the soul beasts. Wang Feng pressed his palm on the ice sculpture and felt the consciousness of these evil soul beasts. Their consciousness had been destroyed by the dark devil chi. It was almost impossible to wake them up. Furthermore, there was a special imprint in their sea of consciousness. It should be the imprint left by the soul demons to control these evil soul beasts. This imprint should be a special soul skill. End of chapter. Chapter 12:10. Wang Feng channeled the soul power in his body. His soul power was formed from 7 purple origin patterns, and was very special. He controlled his mind and channeled his soul power to erase this imprint. Ice Qilin, release the frozen state. Wang Feng suddenly said. Qilin Lord Bingmu waved his hand, and the ice sculptures were immediately released. A few evil soul beasts fell to the ground and woke up one after another. However, the moment they woke up, they roared and looked at Wang Feng. They seemed to have sensed some kind of aura, and then prostrated themselves at Wang Feng's feet. Only a part of their original consciousness has been erased. Most of them have been assimilated by the dark demonic energy, and their souls have been assimilated. Therefore, you can't awaken these soul beasts that have been infected for a long time, because they have truly become evil soul beasts. They are creatures of the dark demonic realm. Wang Feng muttered, however, my aura is similar to a soul demon, or even stronger than a soul demon. It can affect them. Their souls still have the imprint of a soul demon. They should be able to be awakened. If my chaotic green lotus was still around, the purification ability of the white lotus would be able to purify their souls directly. However, if I awaken my second origin power, the power of redemption, I can also redeem and awaken them. For now, I can only subdue these deeply infected evil soul beasts. The second origin power of the Origin Tribulation God King was naturally not simple. It's already very difficult to achieve this. Qilin Lord Bingmu looked deeply at these evil soul beasts. Looks like boss's martial soul isn't a simple martial soul. Alright, it seems like my experiment is useful. Wang Feng smiled. Ice Qilin, go and activate the defenses of the 4 extremities Myriad Elephant Valley. According to the time, you should be back in 2 hours at most. Bring her in when she's back. Qilin Lord Bingmu nodded. The defenses of the 4 extremities Myriad Elephant Valley should be a special soul skill that Qing Qing and the others used together. They used the 4 different types of energy produced by the 4 different danger zones in the 4 extremities Myriad Elephant Valley to form a defensive barrier. The way to activate it was to use the power of extreme ice to activate the soul skill imprints in the Absolute Chill Ice Cave, Absolute Serene Spirit Cave, Absolute Lightning Purple Forest, and Absolute Green Platform. It was similar to a soul tool. And it was a stationary soul tool. When Wang Feng saw these 4 soul tools, he knew that Qing Qing must have collaborated with humans. This was because it wasn't an ordinary soul tool, but a Class 8 stationary soul tool. And it was made according to the different terrains of these 4 places. Not only did it contain the Sun-Moon Empire's wisdom, but it also contained other innovations. It definitely wasn't something that an ordinary soul engineer could create. That Xia is so familiar with this place, perhaps she and Qingqing were the ones who created these soul tools? Wang Fengxin thought. No matter what, the fact that the extreme north could use soul tools meant that the development of the extreme north was becoming closer and closer to human society. No matter who created it. Furthermore, as Shiyu had expected, there were special traps left behind by the soul demons near these soul devices. This trap was a special soul skill. As long as one entered the range of the trap, it would trigger an explosion of dark devil energy. It looked like a simple energy explosion, but its power was terrifying. As long as it wasn't a creature from the dark demon world, it would be destroyed immediately. Fortunately, these traps might not be useful to Wang Feng. Instead, he could absorb a lot of it. After dealing with all this, there was an obvious layer of protective barrier outside the Four Extremes Myriad Elephant Valley. As the energy source of the barrier came from 4 different danger zones, the color of the barrier would change every once in a while. The defensive power of the barrier was so strong that even a titled Douluo couldn't break it temporarily. This was due to the uniqueness of this place. 4 different types of energy flowed back and forth, forming a cycle. Attacking this layer of barrier was equivalent to facing 4 different types of energy attack. It was impossible to succeed with just one person's strength. 3 hours have passed. She doesn't seem to be back yet. Wang Feng glanced into the distance. Something else might have happened. I'll go out and take a look. Shiyu had always calculated the time in advance. It could be said that she was very good at planning. According to her estimation, she would return to the Four Extremes Myriad Elephant Valley after luring the 3 soul demons out for 3 hours, and Lin Lord Bingmu and Wang Feng would pick her up. But if she didn't return, she must have encountered something else. In fact, Shiyu did encounter something else. Her original estimation was not wrong. She lured the 3 soul demons out of the Four Extremes Myriad Elephant Valley and spent 2 hours to bring them out of the Four Extremes Myriad Elephant Valley. Then, she used her powerful soul skill to withdraw directly. She avoided a direct confrontation with the other party, because it was more dangerous, but she never expected. An hour and a half later, the 3 soul demons seemed to have noticed something and suddenly returned the way they came. They didn't chase after her. Shiyu naturally couldn't let them return at this time. Helplessly, she could only force her way to stop the 3 soul demons. Even though she had only recovered 20 to 30%, she could completely suppress the 3 soul demons for almost an hour. But the characteristics of the soul demons were really troublesome. Their bodies were extremely strong and difficult to destroy. With her current strength, she couldn't destroy the other party. After suppressing and obstructing the 3 soul demons for an hour, Shiyu planned to withdraw directly. But at this time, the worst situation she expected happened. Because of the fight, other soul demons were attracted. One had to know that although these soul demons were in contact with each other, they were not in contact all the time. The reason why Shiyu chose 3 hours was that these soul demons would have a special kind of spiritual communication at intervals of 4 hours. This kind of communication was very strange. They could communicate with each other from hundreds of thousands of miles away. Therefore, Shiyu only needed to leave quickly within 3 hours. Unfortunately, because of her obstruction, the battle spread out and attracted other soul demons before it was time for these soul demons to communicate. This was also the reason why Shiyu didn't want to make a move. Therefore, another soul demon had appeared. And it was an even more powerful 9-ringed soul demon. What was worse was that although her injuries were almost healed, she had consumed a lot of energy because of the battle with the 3 soul demons. In this situation, she could either fight to the death, but in the end, these 4 soul demons would die, but she would also suffer more serious injuries, or even die directly. Or she could forcibly use that special soul skill to leave this place, but she was not in a good state and might fail. Once she failed, she would face the threat of the 4 soul demons and die. In the clouds, Shiyu looked at the 3 soul demons not far away, who were full of wounds, and then looked at the 9-ringed soul demon who was not far behind her. I have to make a choice. Shiyu had already made up her mind. She chose the former. Or rather, she had never been a person who was afraid. Although the latter had a chance to survive, if she failed, the situation would be the same. On the contrary, it would be useless. However, just as she made her choice, a pitch-black figure suddenly appeared in the distance. Chapter 12:11. With a thought, Shiyu looked at the figure and couldn't help but be slightly startled. The figure was surrounded by a powerful aura of dark demonic chi, and there were 7 pairs of special light wings on his back. He was tall and big, which was fundamentally different from those soul demons. But the other party's aura was extremely powerful. It was a kind of aura similar to these 9-ringed soul demons, but it seemed to be more powerful. It was somewhat similar to the aura of a 10-ringed divine warrior soul, but Shiyu had seen a 10-ringed divine warrior soul with her own eyes. Compared to this person, there must be a huge difference. And judging from the figure, the other party looked more like a human than a soul demon. The soul demon's body was crimson, his eyes were purplish-black, and there were fangs of varying degrees on his back. It was very eye-catching. Could it be a higher-level soul demon? Shiyu was startled. A higher-level soul demon? But according to her understanding, there were many soul demons born in the soul beast forests covered by the major political districts so far. But these soul demons were all 9-ringed soul demons. So far, Shiyu had only seen a 10-ringed divine warrior soul in the extreme north. Otherwise, she wouldn't have come to this place. A higher-level soul demon was probably not something the soul masters of the Douluo world could resist. Only a powerhouse beyond the divine warrior realm, and according to the soul demon's memory, there were more powerful soul demons above the 10-ringed divine warrior soul, but it was very difficult to breed these soul demons in the Douluo world. How could it be the aura of a high-ranking soul demon was very special? Shiyu, who had some understanding of the dark demon realm, felt her heart sink to the bottom. Could it be him? In disguise? Shiyu's heart suddenly skipped a beat. This appearance is a bit like being possessed by an angel martial soul, and this angel martial soul is very rare. Black and gold wings and 7 pairs. Could it be his martial soul? But where did the dark demonic chi come from? Soul masters couldn't absorb the dark demonic chi. If the other party could absorb it, then it must be related to his martial soul. It should be because I didn't return on time, so he came out to inquire about the situation and disguised himself as a soul demon. Shiyu deduced, however, even if the aura is simulated, the difference is too great. Just the physical difference alone is hard to convince these soul demons. In addition, these soul demons have a special way of contacting each other. They can contact each other every 4 hours, which means that there is a special connection between them. But it's impossible for you to have such a method of linking. Instead, you'll be excluded. With a little inspection, you'll be exposed. Shiyu's martial soul was the danger? She had rejected soul demons since a soul demon. However, his courage and boldness are extraordinary. No one would dare to disguise themselves as a soul demon. Shiyu sees you as think. But Shiyu use her soul as you. Teet of her teet soul teetes. Teet leaves just as Shiyu was thinking of countermeasures. Sure enough, the moment the figure flew over, the 3 injured soul demons and the newly arrived soul demon saw Wang Feng immediately. These 3 soul demons were not simple. They were all 9-ringed soul demons, but they were not inferior to Mo Yuan. One of them was even stronger. Attracted by the battle, the newly arrived soul demon was the most powerful. Each of the 4 soul demons had 9 rings that were as black as ink flashing on their bodies, making them look extremely frightening. This Shiyu is a little strong. She has only recovered 20 to 30%, but she has seriously injured these 3 soul demons. Wang Feng glanced at the 3 injured soul demons. His heart trembled slightly. With the strength of these 3 soul demons, even he couldn't injure them to this extent. But Yu, who only recovered 20 to 30% of her strength, could easily do it. If it weren't for this new soul demon, Yu should have returned by now. Wait, did Yu fight these 3 soul demons? Wang Fengxin's heart skipped a beat. He knew that these soul demons had a special connection. After connecting with Mo Yuan's soul, Wang Feng knew it clearly. This kind of connection was similar to a mental network. As a soul demon, once born, it would produce a kind of mental resonance and be able to communicate over a long distance. It just took a long time. According to the time in the Douluo world, it would take at least 4 hours. Therefore, Yu only planned to return in 3 hours to prevent attracting new soul demons. Yet, Yu had attacked the 3 soul demons. Clearly, this was very irrational, because once she attacked, it would inevitably attract other soul demons in advance. Could it be because I erased the mark in the consciousness of those evil soul beasts, these soul demons noticed it? Wang Feng was speechless. If that was the case, it made sense. These soul demons had noticed it in advance. They were luring the tiger away from the mountain. Halfway through being lured by Yu, they suddenly returned. Yu had no choice but to stop them. That was what led to the current scene. In that case, it's still because of me. Cough cough. Taking a deep breath, Wang Feng flew toward the 4 soul demons with a calm expression. The light wings on his back flickered, and his whole body exuded a powerful aura. The aura of the angels of light and dark's origin was mixed with the dark demon energy and spread in all directions. As Wang Feng approached, Yu frowned slightly. She vaguely had a bad feeling. These soul demons were extremely intelligent. There was no way they would be so easily deceived, however. In the next moment, Yu saw a scene that shocked her. As Wang Feng slowly approached, the 4 soul demons suddenly trembled. They looked at Wang Feng and seemed to be sizing him up for a long time. Finally, a look of surprise and joy appeared in their eyes. Then, led by the new soul demon, the 4 soul demons knelt in midair. The fangs on their backs were pressed together, their bodies bent, and their palms were behind their backs, making an ancient and respectful gesture. Percent yen yen hashtag, the soul demon said respectfully, yen hashtag percent yen. Wang Feng couldn't understand his language. He really couldn't understand it. It should be the special language of the Dark Demon clan. But it didn't matter. As an old spy, he was a spy. In such a situation, although Wang Feng couldn't hear it, he could roughly guess that the other party should be shocked by his appearance. Obviously, Wang Feng's previous guess was completely correct. Wang Feng said faintly. It sounded like he was speaking. He began to quickly flip through the memories of Mo Yin and Mo Yuan in his mind. Their memories were relatively large, so they naturally had records of this language. Although Wang Feng had explored their memories, he didn't immediately learn this language. Chapter 12:12. The 4 soul demons were indeed shocked. Even with their brains, they couldn't figure it out. How was this possible? They had all felt the strength of this human woman. 3 soul demons had been chasing her for so long and were seriously injured. Even if a 4th soul demon came, he wouldn't dare to say that he could completely capture her. But now, she was captured so easily? She didn't even make a move? All he did was move his mouth, and this human expert had obediently surrendered? Is this the power of a demon god? Luo was shocked. The reason was very simple. They didn't feel any soul power or mental fluctuation in that ancient voice at all. This was a power that was far beyond their imagination. In fact, Wang Feng was just speaking in Mandarin. He didn't use any soul force undulations, nor did he use any spiritual undulations, because it was too easy to arouse suspicion. Standing at the level of soul demons, if he used a soul skill that could make them feel mental fluctuations, it would be completely unbefitting of his identity as a demon god. On the contrary, Wang Feng didn't use anything. He just spoke in Mandarin, and it was enough to make these soul demons even more frightened. Of course, Shiyu's performance was indispensable. Shiyu walked in front of Wang Feng with confused eyes and was grabbed by the neck by Wang Feng. "You trash, get lost." Wang Feng looked at Luo and the other 3 soul demons and continued to transmit his voice through his mind. "I have great use for this human woman. There's still a tough bone in this place. If that dark demon chief can't bite it, don't blame me for doing it myself. You trash can go back to the dark demon realm by yourselves." Then, Wang Feng waved his hand. The 4 soul demons immediately left in fear and trepidation, not daring to stay for a moment longer. They were afraid that this demon god would turn them all into dregs if he didn't like it. The 4 soul demons turned into streams of light and left as if they were running for their lives. The air fell into silence. Wang Feng let go of Shiyu's neck. A cool breeze blew past, lifting the hem of Shiyu's dress and outlining her graceful and moving figure. Pfft! Shiyu suddenly laughed a few times. "Interesting. I really didn't expect you to really succeed. And you used such a method. Fortunately, your performance was also very important." Wang Feng nodded. It was indeed very important. Shiyu was a very intelligent person. At the very least, she was one of the top few women Wang Feng had ever met. Just now, he had only exchanged a glance with the soul demon, and he had communicated with the soul demon through telepathy. She didn't know anything, but he had guessed it. He also understood the look in Wang Feng's eyes. Shiyu looked at him with a smile. "My deduction can't be wrong. Under normal circumstances, it's impossible for you to gain the trust of these soul demons by disguising yourself as a soul demon. I thought I was wrong just now, but after knowing that these soul demons had left, I realized that I was right. Because you're not a soul demon in disguise. You're disguising yourself as an existence that's more advanced than a soul demon." Shiyu's voice was filled with Sanskrit that contained wisdom. Because these soul demons can't recognize only existences that are of a higher level than the soul demons. According to the memories of the Soul Link, these soul demons are considered cannon fodder in the Dark Demon Realm's army. Moreover, even a 9-ringed soul demon doesn't know much about the higher level experts. They only have a rough idea. It's because of this that there's a huge gap in information. You're disguising yourself as an existence that's more powerful than a 9-ringed soul demon or a 10-ringed soul demon to make them fear you more. Then, you reveal a little bit of your strength, and they won't even dare to suspect you. Although she didn't hear the telepathy between Wang Feng and Luo, Shiyu's analysis was indeed good. It was useless if he was only disguising himself as a soul demon. He was disguising himself as the former Dark Angel God. To be precise, he was the Dark Fallen Angel God. This god who had once left the God realm and fell into the Dark Demon realm. After the 5 God Kings jointly annihilated this god, he didn't fall in the God realm but in a special battlefield. Therefore, the Dark Demon realm wouldn't know the details of this Dark Angel God. They only knew that he had fallen and became the peerless demon hero of the Dark Demon realm. How would these soul demons dare to suspect an existence of this level? In addition, Wang Feng revealed a little bit of his strength. How could they not be afraid? And your martial soul is very magical. Shiyu looked at Wang Feng's current appearance. Could it be that your martial soul is from the Dark Demon realm? Even if you're disguising yourself as an existence that's more powerful than those soul demons, the premise is that you must be linked to the Dark Demon realm. This person was becoming more and more mysterious. Nothing appeared out of thin air in this world. How could a martial soul from the Douluo world hide from the creatures of the Dark Demon realm? At least to a certain extent, he must be from the Dark Demon realm to be able to disguise himself, right? And he had to disguise himself as an extremely high-level existence from the Dark Demon realm. That was naturally not simple. Only a martial soul. Shiyu could only think of a possibility. The soul demons didn't know that the other party was now in a state of martial soul possession, but Shiyu knew because Shiyu guessed the other party's identity. Even though she guessed it, Shiyu still felt it was very inconceivable. What kind of martial soul could have such a powerful ability? A martial soul from the dark demon realm? Let's go back first. Wang Feng withdrew his martial soul, and his body shape and appearance gradually returned to normal. Now that the plan was successful, the next step had to be considered. The situation in the extreme ice layer had not been resolved yet, and there was still a possibility of being exposed. At least Wang Feng had thought of some loopholes, but those soul demons might not be able to find them. Shiyu nodded. Being able to return so smoothly could be said to be the most perfect result. When returning to the fourth ultimate myriad Elephant Valley, Wang Feng also told her what happened in the fourth ultimate myriad Elephant Valley. No wonder those soul demons returned halfway. Shiyu pondered for a moment and said, "Although I had a few guesses, I didn't think that those evil soul beasts would have imprints left behind by the soul demons in their minds. I originally thought that they discovered it because you destroyed the mechanism they left behind. It can be said that there is a cause and effect." Shiyu shook her head. Everything depends on one's effort. Nothing would develop perfectly according to one's imagination. Wang Feng also relied on his impromptu reaction to succeed in his disguise. Your deduction is not wrong. These soul demons do have a lot of ways to identify their own kind. That special ancient demon language is one of them. The spiritual net in their sea of consciousness can even connect to many soul demons and achieve information sharing within a certain range. It is much more powerful than any soul tool in the Douluo world. Every soul demon is recorded in this spiritual net, so it is completely impossible to successfully disguise himself. Wang Feng said. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.